Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Happy Friday, Mariners back in action, back at home, opening up a series against the Toronto Blue Jays. But Bump, some people, a lot of people really, are not fully buying into what the Mariners are selling. We're going to open up phone lines at 11. The number is going to be 866-979-3776. Are you buying the Mariners? If you're not, it's okay. You just got to say, like, I want to. Obviously, we're all Mariners fans here. I want to, but I can't because of this. And if you are, then obviously we want to know why too. So again, that's going to be what we're doing at 11. First, let me tell you what some folks around MLB are saying. Chris Young and Mark DeRosa on an MLB Network panel yesterday were asked, hey, who's the team to beat in the AL West? Bump, this is how that conversation went.
I'm going to go with the Rangers. I know where they're sitting in the division right now, but I trust Evaldi, Malley, DeGrom as my 1, 2, and 3, one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. And it'll be hard for me to sit here in August or September and say I'm so surprised that Corey Seager and Marcus Semien and Adolis Garcia and Wyatt Langford and Josh Young, hey, those guys got it going. Surprise, surprise. So I still think the Rangers are the team to beat.
It should be the Rangers.
But
by the way, the A's won 10 of 15.
You know how I feel about the Athletics. They're 2 pitchers away from Mark Kotsay being a massive factor. But I'm going to stay safe.
Houston. Okay.
I picked him at the beginning of the year. You got to prove to me you can beat him. Hunter Brown's as good as anybody. Still love Altuve. Jordan hasn't swung the bat at all.
They better get Jordan back quickly.
They got to get him right. You know he's going to go on a binge at some point.
Vibe into that background music right now. I didn't hear the Mariners mentioned Bump. Not once. Not even a little bit.
Not surprising, though, right? I'm not surprised at that. The reason why I'm not surprised now, because, listen, they have their reasoning with Texas. They're talking about their 1-2-3 combo on the mound. They're healthy. You talk about Houston. They talk about Altuve and Yordan Alvarez. And what they're doing is they're going back to resume and what they've done in the past. Rangers have won a World Series. They got some pieces remaining on that team from that World Series. Houston has been one of the better teams in the league for the last 6, 7, 8 years. They got some pieces over there as well. Why should people believe in the Mariners? Because they're having a good first quarter of the season, and we've shown that over the years that's not good enough. We've shown over the years that the Mariners have started off great and then fizzled off. So they're doing what everyone here in Seattle does. What most people do is say, calm down, Bump and Stacy. We've seen this before. They're doing the same thing, and then in reverse, they're looking at the competition and saying, well, we've seen them struggle, and we've seen these guys get hot. So, look, I'm starting to buy stock in the Mariners. I'm not going on to my app that I use to buy stock and saying, I'm throwing $10,000 on the Mariners right now. No, sure. I might buy a little more than I would last year. I might buy a little more than I would a week ago.
Sure.
But the logic that they put down makes sense if you look at just the history of these ball clubs the last 3 or 4 seasons. No one's ready to believe them. And then they're looking at the injuries. They're looking at the rotation and saying, well, they don't have all their guys over there. And they're looking at the way the bats have been hot, and they're saying, we've never seen this before. There's no way this is going to keep up. Because of history, it makes sense that these guys would pick a team in the Texans that's 27th as a team when it comes to OPS. To pick a team like the Texans, who are 25th in batting average as
Rangers.
A team. Pick a team like, the Rangers, sorry. The Rangers, I keep saying Texans. Texans and Lions. I get them just jacked up. Pick a team like Houston, who has a team, they're like 19th when it comes to batting average. Now, simple stats, but it all comes down to who they recognize on the roster, what those guys have done in the past. So it makes sense. I don't vibe with it, but it makes sense.
I think it makes sense. I do think that the Mariners, and I don't think this is coming from a homer perspective. I tend to be pretty critical and kind of negative. I do think the Mariners offense looks different enough from last season for me to think that there have been some improvement. I think that they're hot right now and that they're going to cool off and there's going to be some regression. Cal Raleigh is not going to hit 70 bombs this year. And Not with that attitude. And Jorge Polanco is not going to OPS, 1,200. He's not going to be Aaron Judge. Like, these are two different players. So, like, I know that there's going to be some regression. There's going to be a cooling off. And hopefully that overlaps with, like, maybe you get Logan back when you worried you might not. Maybe Kirby comes back sooner than expected, whatever. But, man, I know that you said those are basic stats, but if you flipped it, and if critics were looking at the Mariners as being, like 25th in OPS or 21st in average or whatever, they'd be like, well, this is why you can't count on Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I'm just saying, like,
it's a double standard.
I get that the history is there for Houston, and I understand that it's like, I'm going to count on you until you prove me wrong. It's one of the same reasons that I'm always going to be like, I can't count against Patrick Mahomes in the Chiefs.
That's
because no matter what,
Yep.
like, no matter, you're kind of thinking like, well, what am I can't be an idiot here. Like, they've never proven me wrong. So I get it. But they also don't have the same guys that they've always had. Like, this is not a Houston team with a lot of the names we're familiar with. I know you still have Altuve, obviously, Jordan, but, like, it's not quite the same roster.
They got enough, though.
They got enough,
and
but they
then
also have a lot of question marks, as does every team in the American League, even the very best team right now in the Yankees.
They do, but that's just the way the human mind works, how the analyst mind works, is that you look for things that are familiar. And what's familiar with the Rangers in Houston is good enough to make these guys believe eventually they're going to get things going. And then you look at just the culture of the Houston, more Houston than the Rangers. The Rangers have been up and down with the last few years, but Houston has been the constant, that they've been down and out, and then they get hot and they find a way to sneak into the playoffs or to get in the playoffs and win the division. If there's anybody that I would look at and say they're more likely to do it, it's probably the Astros. But Texans 1, 2, 3. When they talk about their starters, they got a good rotation over there. They just hire a new hitting coach and Boone over there. They're making some changes. Who knows, man? But it's just because no one believes that this is sustainable. And I think when you see the numbers that Polanco's putting up, you're looking at JP. JP the last couple of weeks, the second best batting average in the game right now behind Aaron Judge, right? You look at the way that JP is playing. And then I think they're doing what I do every game is I look at the bottom of the lineup and see how the no-names are doing. According to them, the no-names, like the Williamsons, the Rivas, and all that stuff, the Rowdies. And they're looking at those names and saying, no way those guys are going to keep this thing going. Yeah. They're AAA guys. They're just here out of necessity. Not because they actually want these guys here. There's reason to believe that the Mariners are going to fall off eventually, but that's their job, is to try to prove all the naysayers wrong. It's to try to prove everyone wrong and say, no, this is the new Mariners. We got a new manager. We have new hitting coaches. We have a new philosophy, a new vibe over here. We got the best catcher in the game. Julio's turning a corner the last couple weeks. We got one of the best defensive shortstops in the game as well. It's up to the Mariners to kind of change the way people are looking at them. And how do you do that? You keep winning series after series like they've been doing, but you do it well into summertime.
I think that, honestly, if you took out Jorge Polanco's name and put Julio there, I think people would be a little more willing to buy in nationally, because they'd have a higher ceiling on Julio than on Jorge. When they look at Jorge Polanco's numbers, or fill in the blank, like you said, like a 7-8-9 hitter, they're thinking like, that guy's not going to last, right? With Julio, I think if Julio was really hot, they'd go, oh, he figured it out. Like, they'd have a little more faith. Likewise, if the Mariners starting rotation was fully healthy, I think they'd have a little bit more faith, and maybe you'd hear the Mariners mentioned there. But you're right. Like, they're just not expecting the same kind of production from names they aren't as familiar with. Another factor, obviously, the time of year.
Yep.
Right? Like, it's May 9th. So I don't blame anyone for looking at what the Mariners done, especially after losing a 10-game lead in 24 games last year, going, well, I don't know, I got to see more. You ask Adnan Virk, you asked him yesterday also of MLB Network, well, when do we start to buy in? First, we asked about Memorial Day.
I always try to look at it in terms of thirds. Like, Memorial Day definitely is a benchmark. I say to myself, okay, a team that is successful right now is in decent shape. I think it's something like 2/3 of teams who are in playoff position by Memorial Day end up making the playoffs. So I feel pretty good. And I definitely look at it more from a negative perspective. If my team is struggling at Memorial Day, for example, the Orioles are almost 10 games under 500. They've been one of the bigger stories in the sport, just how bad they've been. So to me, if I'm the Orioles Memorial Day, I'm still not good. Then I start saying, okay, we've got to make some massive changes here, make some trades, and accept our fate.
Okay, so Memorial Day, probably a more important checkpoint for a bad team, but the Mariners haven't looked like a bad team. So when do you start to believe? Here's more from Adnan.
For Seattle specifically, when would I start sort of, quote-unquote, buying the Kool-Aid and feeling pretty good? I'd wait until the All-Star break. I mean, Memorial Day's almost here, a few more weeks. If they're still hitting, okay, great. But if I can sustain that and I'm going into July and the All-Star break and my team is still a top 5, top 10 offense, I feel pretty good about it.
Okay, fine. I can stand pat. I can wait. I can sit around. I can understand, just like everyone else, that it's a little early. I guess I was just a little bummed to hear a team that is one of the hottest in the American League, granted the American League a little down, not really discussed at all.
Yeah. No, you're down because we are an everyday show that follows this team, their struggles, their successes, and obviously there's a bit bias there. But when you step out and listen to the way that people view this team, yeah, it makes sense. If we're going to Memorial Day, what is that, like the 26th or something like that? So you still got to play the Yankees, you got to play the Padres, and you got Houston again. You got time to prove yourself, right? You go all the way down to the All-Star break. You're going to play like I mentioned, you already played the Yankees. You're going to play the Tigers for the second time. Don't forget the Cubs, who are first in the NL Central at this point. And the Yankees, fourth when it comes to team batting average, first in home runs, third in RBIs, first in OPS. The Tigers, first in team batting average, fifth in OPS, sixth in home runs, second in RBIs. And the Cubs, first through third and the sixth in there when you look at those categories. That's why you got to wait. You got to wait because you got some big dogs in front of you starting next week. Still got to get through this Toronto series, but you got the Yankees coming into town, and it's followed up by the Padres. These next 9 games, I think, can really shift the way that people look at this ball club. If we were to listen to those same analysts after these 9 games, and these guys come out on top, maybe you win 2 out of 3 of these series, specifically the New York and San Diego series. You got to get one of those series, hopefully all 3 of these things. Then I think people start to believe it again because they're just looking at the guys that they've played so far. You start off the season tough. The Athletics, you lose that. You don't know who the Athletics are. Lo and behold, they're a pretty good ball club. They got some things going over there. Wilson, Mr. Contact, blows my mind every time I see him out there. The Tigers, you lose that series. People are thinking, what the heck is going on? Lo and behold, the Tigers, that's a good program over there as well. And then you got Houston and Texas starts to get on a roll. So I think it's because the start that you had, the competition that you played, and what lies ahead of you. You got to take care of business now. I'm fine with people counting these dudes out at this point because I think they should. You blew a 10-game lead last year, like you said, in record time. We had these hot starts before, and then you kind of bottom out, and then towards August, you want to get hot again. It is just not enough. The Seattle Mariners are the Washington State Cougars when I was playing. 6 wins every single year. Took SC to the final play of the game. Almost beat them when they're number 3. Beat a number 10 Oregon, but lose to a non-ranked Stanford team.
And how did they lose? Do you want me to say it or
what? How did who lose?
I'm saying, are you saying the Mariners are gonna?
No. I'm saying just that's who they are. That's who. See, look at you.
I'm just saying.
Wow. Can I get through my analysis? Can I get through my analysis?
Can I get through my analysis? I know what you were thinking.
That's not what I was thinking. Not at all.
It's what I was thinking.
That's you, not me. So. See, y'all jacked me up. So they're good enough to beat you, but they also don't have the resume or the pedigree to say, this is a guaranteed win. So, hey, you got to, if I'm them, I'm embracing this position. Yeah, count us out, underdogs for sure. You know what we're going to do? We're going to show up, going to give you everything we have, and we ain't even healthy yet. That's what I'm saying if I'm them. We ain't even healthy yet. Wait until we're healthy. We got all our dogs out there. It can be a different game.
I think you make a really good point, though, about even though Adnan rightfully says, like, you want to wait until the All-Star break to really see what a team is. Like, this is such a long season that sweeping the Yankees or beating the Yankees and Padres in back-to-back series, let's say you take those series, would be a statement. And you're right. Like, you could start to get some national hype, national attention long before July if you keep winning, even though people know it's early. It's like kind of against your better judgment, but you'd start looking at the Mariners going, when they had that 10-game lead last year, their point differential was just plus 19.
Right.
Right now it's over 30. That's not massive. I mean, the Yankees are, plus 61. The Tigers, oh my God, at plus 83. But that's better right now. Like, your offense has been more productive than it was during your 10-game lead last season.
Yeah, they don't see us like that. They don't dive deep like that. They go with the popular picks. I'll guarantee you, Stacy, they're watching those games from the Astros and the Rangers a lot more closely than the Mariners. The Mariners just flash on the bottom of the screen like, oh, snaps, they won. Let's go check it out. With the Rangers and Houston and Tigers and everyone else, they're actively watching those games and seeing what's going down. And rightfully so. We've done nothing to require the attention of the nation at this point. Yeah, we're winning ball games. We look good. but you got to be relevant in August.
The Mariners are back at T-Mobile starting Friday, May 9th. That's today for an exciting 6-game homestand featuring matchups against the Blue Jays, then the Yankees. Fans can look forward to special theme nights and exclusive giveaways, making each game a can't-miss event. You can purchase tickets for all games during the homestand at mariners.com/tickets. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, reports surfaced today that Bill Belichick's girlfriend Jordan Hudson has been banned from UNC's football facility, but the university responded by saying she's still welcome around the program. What's the real headline?
UNC announced it to Jordan by just putting child locks on the doors.
She couldn't figure it out.
She couldn't figure it out.
She said, Bill,
help.
I can't open the door.
You know, sometimes you get those caps for medicine and it's harder than it looks.
It's hard. It's hard.
If my girls can't get in through a door, they just start yanking on the door handle.
Yeah,
and
that's what Jordan was doing. She's like, what
darn near
is this?
broken off our bathroom door handle.
Yeah. Strong grip over there in the Rogers household. But listen, when I played, let me tell you one thing. Wifeys have access to everything in the facility. Wifeys. Mrs. Doba, rest in peace, had access to everything. Holmgren, Mora, all of them had access. But they also moved differently and were respected within that facility. That's the thing. Is she is behaving and acting as if she is in her younger 20s and hasn't been nowhere. You have to be floating. Like, head coaches and their wifeys, they glide through the facility. There's a confidence and a presence that they bring because of their status. She don't understand her status right now, or at least she's not fulfilling the role when it comes to this presentation. If she moved differently, this wouldn't be an issue. But because she's thrown a tantrum on camera before and she's dressed a certain way at practice, now she's 26, you dress the way you want to dress. I'm not going to judge you. You do your thing. But just know that you are perceived a certain way by the way you dress, the way you act, the way you speak. That's why this has become an issue. And North Carolina is doing their best to say, look, Bill, we got you. This might have been leaked, but look, we're going to clean this up because they won't be able to coach there.
It's a good point, though, about, like, it wouldn't be weird for someone's wife or even, like, a partner or whatever to just be around the facility or be there when you're thinking, well, who's this? Like, it wouldn't be weird at all.
Yeah.
But it's when you make the story about you, when you draw attention to yourself instead of just, like, no one even realizes that, you know, someone's walking around and being on the sideline.
You got to know your position. Like, for example, with my partner, right? She is the school board president at Monroe School District. When she is there, she's the president. Man, I'm just assistant pimp on the side. I ain't saying nothing. Go ahead and do your thing, right?
Just leave it around.
Right, and then say we go to, like, I'm hosting, emceeing an event tonight at WSU. When I'm there and I'm doing my thing, she's assistant pimp. It's like, look, you just got to know your roles and situations. Yeah. She clearly does not understand that yet.
And Jordan would still have access.
Yeah.
And be able to go pretty much wherever if it was just kind of like you don't make it to where you're the star of the show.
Exactly. She's 26, though. She want to be the star. TikTok dances.
24.
24?
Isn't she 24?
Dang.
24, yeah.
I try to give her 2 more years.
Bill Belichick was he like 50 when she was born?
In his 50s for sure.
Yeah, I think around that time.
I'm sorry. I know that there are people with age differences, and that's disturbing.
Can you imagine looking at a newborn and saying, you're going to be my girl one day?
No, it's weird. But like Bum said, that's their age difference. He's old enough to be her grandfather.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's weird. I'm sorry if I'm disrespecting anyone, but I'd say it to your face.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
I mean, not to I wouldn't go up to a stranger, but if someone, like if a friend, so I'm in my 30s. If I had a friend dating someone, I mean, it's not weird. It's not as weird when you're in your 30s.
Nah,
Let's
30s
say
is cool.
Let's say I was in my 20s, okay? Let's say I'm 25. And I have a friend who is dating a 70-year-old. I'd be like, that's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say it tactfully. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's a very surprising age difference.
What do you guys talk about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would want to know. Does he play CDs in his car? Tape cassettes?
Nah, he plays cassettes.
Yeah.
Flip it over to side B.
Yeah. He keeps asking her, what's a USB? What's Bluetooth?
Brady, you have no idea what cassettes are?
I know what cassettes are.
All right, just checking. Just checking. It's because you kick it with us. That's why.
You said.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, Texans rookie receiver Jaden Higgins became the first second-round draft selection to get a fully guaranteed contract when Houston signed him to a 4-year, $11.7 million deal. What's the real headline?
I wonder if Nicky Manwari, selected one spot behind Jaden, is looking to become the second.
This is definitely leverage when it comes to negotiations. Jaden Higgins is no joke. 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, 87 receptions in college. And the crazy part is they signed this deal before rookie minicamp. It starts today. So they didn't even really get eyes on him in the facility when it comes to him moving around. But then you watch the film. He has a great catch radius, strong hands, and he was the second pick in the second round. He could have easily been a first-round pick, right? It's not like he's deep into the second round, close to the third round, and you're guaranteeing this money. He was a fourth receiver taken. He could have been a first-round pick, and they must have had him with a first-round grade. So it makes sense to them that they want him to be here for a while. What is it, 4 years, $11 million? It's not much when you look at what they're spending. But if they feel like they found their guy, then go ahead and do it. But it's crazy that they haven't even seen him run routes on their premises yet they signed him. So good for him. I hope this is a trend that starts. You know, I'm all about players getting their money. Second rounders, go get it.
Headline Rewrite.
Someone sent in, what a double standard. So Shedeur Sanders can make it all about him and act a fool, and he's celebrated, and this girl gets clowned. This station is better than that. How are these things the same in any way? Respectfully, thank you for listening. But literally, like, how is Shedeur Sanders clearly having an ego and making it about himself? He's a quarterback. He is a player. What are we talking? Why does Shedeur Sanders have access to Colorado's field?
Why would he be in the facility?
Why is he there making it all about himself? These things are not the same.
It's not the same. Good try, though.
I love that creative comparison. I'm a big fan of creative writing, so I love when we all try to express ourselves in different ways. I used a horrible analogy the other day, so to this texter, look, I admittedly tried to compare deep dish pizza to clam chowder, so like I know that we sometimes miss the mark.
You had some followers, though.
This is his deep dish pizza clam chowder comparison, but I love the effort, just like I loved my effort yesterday. I didn't have any followers. I had one person.
No, there were a few. There were a few in there.
One person say, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But mostly, I think it was more of like, people probably didn't get Picasso at first. Like, I think that sometimes just because everyone disagrees, it doesn't mean you're wrong. I'm just saying, like, I think there have been a lot of times when people were innovative, introduced new ideas. Like, we used to think that, like, the sun revolved around the earth. You know what I mean? Like, I think that sometimes you just need someone to introduce a new concept.
Yeah. Is that what you did?
Sure.
No, I think so. I think that this actually makes a lot of sense. And I think that if someone really famous and popular were to say it, you guys would all, oh, we totally get it. That's great. Great idea. Like if Pete Carroll came out and said, you know, he's well liked. Oh, I think that deep dish pizza is kind of like clam chowder. I think people would be like, that's so funny. I totally see it. I get what he's saying.
Because it's Pete.
I'm just saying, like, I think you guys think I have bad opinions about food.
Stacy,
and so what you hear is
3 years with you. 3 years.
You're telling me
you're consistent as heck. Every now and then you have a good take about food, but for the most part, I'm like, what is she talking about?
Because it's abstract. It's you got to be like an artist. I think I'm like a left brain kind of you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
It's a complicated. Okay?
I see. Complex.
What the Mariners got right this offseason. That's next.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At bat by at bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
There's nothing better than having a big fish on your line. You'll hear that sound a lot at Queen Charlotte Lodge. Experience a luxury resort, breathtaking wildlife, spectacular wilderness, and amazing fishing at Queen Charlotte Lodge in British Columbia. Reserve now for peak king salmon runs and plentiful halibut this May and June. At Queen Charlotte Lodge, it's fishing first class. Go to fishqcl.com. That's fishqcl.com. And remember, our dollar is worth $1.40 north of the border.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
You think your home is pretty cool until that summer heat hits, and suddenly your home isn't that cool. In fact, it's hot. Air conditioning from Washington Energy Services can help. Stay cool this summer with our biggest spring savings event ever. This month only, take up to $2,500 off an energy-efficient Bryan cooling system with exclusive Washington Energy rebates. Ensure your home is always the cool house with air conditioning from Washington Energy Services. Contact us today for a free estimate.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
We know finding a company to trust with your home is a big decision, and one we look forward to earning with incredible service, top quality products, and lifetime warranties. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are feature-rich with our sound package that reduces noise by 50%, clean glass technology, and added protection with our exclusive First Guard 3-layer security glass. Learn more about all of these features at lakewashingtonwindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
Live MMA takes over Muckleshoot Event Center, Saturday, May 24th. Witness the heart-pounding action as the fiercest fighters step into the cage for an unforgettable night of stunning knockouts, merciless submissions, and pure adrenaline. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MuckleshootCasino.com.
Muckleshoot.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Look, credit where it's due. Bump, I think we got to give the Mariners front office some credit when it comes to this season. I'm in a fantasy football thread. It hurts my feelings because I've been in it for like 8 years and I've yet to win this league, but I digress. And we were all chatting with each other about the Mariners because everyone there is also a Seattleite. And someone said, were the Mariners right then? And it was a genuine question. He was like, so was Jerry Dipoto right? And I thought, what a great question. Let's you and I just talk about it because now I have all these potential answers. So I'll throw you the same question first to get us started here, and then we'll kind of dive into what was right and wrong, the specific things. Was Jerry Dipoto right? What was he right about?
He was right about Polanco, that's for sure, because after what we saw last year, no one expected this. Basic stats, last year, 213 batting average, 296 on base, 355 slugging, OPS is 651, WAR of 1.4. This year he's killing it. 348, 396, 707, over 1,000 OPS. Talk about home runs. He's already got 9 on the year. He had 16 last year. They were right with him in the batter's box. Defensively, he still makes me a little nervous out there. Like I saw him try to make a play in Sacramento. I believe it was a ground ball to his left. Yeah, and he's like, I'm thinking a younger, more athletic guy would have gotten there, but he's not even that old. He's 31 years of age, but it just didn't look natural or fluid. So defensively, I'm okay with him not being out there and just DHing and do your thing. But with Jorge Polanco, up to this point, I always want to preface what we're saying up to this point. Up to this point, I think they were right about Jorge Polanco. I mean, we were not excited when we found out he was coming back. I remember you put out a tweet and said, all right, it was some sarcastic in the Stacy's headlines type of way. And I like to say, boop, yep, I like that because I agree 100%. Why are we bringing him back? Why aren't we being more aggressive? So when it comes to just the progression of Jorge Polanco after being healthy, I think they were right about that. Defensively, I'm good if he just isn't out there and is just swinging a stick.
I agree. Jorge Polanco would be one of my top answers for they were right about wanting to bring him in here. And I don't know that he was a priority signing, or maybe he was taking his time to figure things out. I don't know. But this was a later signing. This was post, Donovan Solano, who I know you're addressing different positions. But when you were looking to fill out your infield and kind of answer some questions there, I think that this was one that maybe took some time to kind of come to fruition. Yeah. But still, you're right. Tip of the cap. I think they were right about knowing that they would need to rely on all of their starters and not wanting to trade one of them to address a problem. Justin Hollander was on with us, and we asked him a couple questions. I'll get to cuts in a minute, but one of them was, hey, why not trade a starter? I know it sounds silly to ask, but look, if you
I was all for it.
You know what I mean? I'm like, if you guys want to know what people were wondering, people were thinking you're not going to be able to add true substantial talent or a real impact bat unless you trade one of these guys. And we already know that having an amazing 1 through 5 doesn't get you to the playoffs alone. So why not deal? And they were honest, and they were like, because that's who we are. It's our identity. And we have Emerson Hancock as the 6th guy, but beyond him, do you really have just because you have 1 through 5 and then Emerson doesn't mean you have a ton of depth there.
Right.
And they were right not to do that because now we're looking at George Kirby and Logan not even being with the club right now.
Yeah, they're right. Could you imagine they get rid of one of those guys and now you're in the situation that you're in. You are banking on Logan Evans coming up and playing a more consistent role. I think Emerson Hancock is showing, and I like the way that Emerson Hancock is being brought along. I know it's out of necessity, but you expect him to be one of the next guys up. And unfortunately, but fortunately, he's out there getting reps and getting acclimated, and he's looked pretty good the last few outings, actually. But no, could you imagine being in this situation and not having one of those 5 guys there? And I was the one. I'm like, yeah, Bryce Miller, sure, let's look at it. Well, maybe. Castillo, I think they actually tried to work Castillo out, but there were no takers there. Hindsight's always 20/20. Now I'm like, thank God Castillo's still here. Thank God Wu and Miller, even though Miller's having his issues right now. You still feel better about this rotation with these guys here. Something else I think they got right was being patient with JP because people were frustrated and they thought maybe he was a one-hit wonder that one year where he went to Driveline, and I would love to see Driveline's numbers now as far as profit loss because We've been pubbing him. The Mariners been pubbing him. Everyone's going there. But they were patient with JP and said he's going to get healthy. He's going to be the guy that we can count on leading off every single game. They started him at the bottom of the order, right, 8-9 spot, and now he's eventually up to the 1 spot. But being patient with JP up to this point, I'm always going to say that, Stacy, because fool me once, fool me twice. Up to this point, JP has been solid defensively, probably has one of the top 5 defensive plays of the year in MLB. And he's on, a 16-game hit streak at this point. He hardly strikes out. What does he have? 25 on the year, but as of late, he hardly strikes out. And he's just consistent. He's that consistent guy or bat that you were used to seeing a couple years ago.
If feel free, we can bounce back and forth between what they did and didn't get right. So far, what they didn't get right is Solano. And this was no kind of like, oh, we're just kind of adding depth. We don't really care. This was a front office that both you and I thought were pretty excited to see what Solano could potentially do. And this was a name that was brought up multiple times in interviews. And it was that familiar Mariners approach. Hey, it's a guy who we know can perform, but he's older, and we're going to try to wring out whatever he's got left because we got to shop on a budget, right? So we're going to, look at a clearance rack and get something that, we think can work for us. It hasn't yet. Maybe he does, but I think that, by no means am I being like, oh, the Mariners' success is on accident. I think they were right to believe in a lot of parts that were already on this roster and to think their problem was execution and not fully talent. But some of the talent they brought in has so far not worked.
Yeah. No, Solano has been the eyesore, I would say. But they talked about him hitting for contact. That was their main sell, is that, look, yeah, he's 35, 36 years of age, but he hits for contact. He should be good. Hasn't been doing that. The other thing they sold us or tried to sell us when it comes to Solano is his leadership. And we know that they bring in leadership type of guys that they think fits the clubhouse and can really help the maturation of this ball club. I don't know if he's doing that, Solano. I'm not in the dugout. I'm not in the clubhouse with him. I don't know. If you're not being the contact hitter that you are supposed to be, I hope you are the leader. I hope you are whispering sweet nothings in people's ears and calming these young guys down and helping out Dan and Seitzer and Edgar when it comes to approaches at the plate, even though your approach ain't been on point yet. But if you are not the guy in the batter's box that they sold you or tried to sell you to be, I hope that leadership thing is shining bright right now.
Another thing they got right is maybe pointing to coaching. I'm sure you can find a version of me saying this on the record, so I'm not going to shy away from it. But I remember saying in the offseason, I don't like that they're trying to make it seem like Dan Wilson and Edgar came in here and turned this thing around. I'm deeply nervous about this offense. And it feels like making Scott Service a scapegoat for what has been 10 years of outside of 2022 not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Can you just blame your manager when you're in charge of roster construction? I was heated.
Yeah, I was too. I didn't think he deserved it.
Right. But again, we had Hollander on. This was back in February talking about the approach that they want to take with batters and leaning on Edgar for that.
I think that strikes the perfect balance for what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to take all of this data and info and these big ideas, and we're going to put them in the funnel and have an awesome messenger at the bottom of the funnel to tell the player, this is what I'm hoping you can accomplish. This is what I believe you can do. And I think Edgar's gift as a hitting coach is just that. He connects with players. He can make the complicated simple. I think that's a big reason why Kevin Seitzer connected with all of us in the interview process, because he and Edgar are kind of cut from the same cloth. They all believe in, hitting the ball hard in the air to the alleys. Edgar's way of messaging it may be different than what we've had in the past, and I hope it resonates better than it has in the past.
So far, Justin and co have been right.
Yeah.
They have.
They have been right. It's I think it's important to look at the personality of your team as far as the roster and align them with a coach who you think can connect with them. There's something called the Patriot way when Bill Belichick was there, right? There are some guys or some organizations, you just come in, you fall in line, it is what it is. I think baseball is a bit different with that because there's so much, you spend so much time with your team. Football, there's 53 guys on the sideline, coaches have their headsets on, call the play, run out there, get it done. In baseball, you're traveling so much with these guys. You're in the dugout with them. It's such an intimate type of sport. Yeah. You got to have a guy that connects with them. And maybe Scott just wasn't doing that. But let's not forget, Scott was one game away from making the playoffs a couple of years. Finalist for Manager of the Year. So I think that's what kind of threw us off a little bit because we're seeing some of the success that he was having with this roster and almost making it and being recognized as one of the better managers, and just not being able to get it done. But it looks like so far they found a coach and he hired a couple guys on the staff that are connecting with these dudes.
We're sticking with the Mariners quite a bit today. We do have some Seahawks segments that we're going to work in later, including one that we're both really excited about. But before we get to it, coming up at 11, we're going to open up the phone lines. Get ready to call in. That number is 866-979-3776. Are you buying the Mariners right now? Are you actually buying in? And if you're not, we also want to hear from you. Absolutely. I mean, it's only May 9th, so I think we're going to get a lot of people that aren't. Again, 866-979-3776. Before we get to that, what we learned from the newest edition of the Cal Raleigh Show.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Even the guys that if you look at their average and go, they're not off to a good start, look at the on base. This team has been outstanding at working the pitcher, at taking walks. You look at Randy Arozarena, for instance. He's had huge hits. He's had some big moments that have been game-winning moments. But overall, he's not hitting that well. He's hitting 208. But he's got a 359 on base.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Boat wins! Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Boat wins! Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing? Boat wins!
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat. Yeah!
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Do you have a car sitting around collecting dust? Turn that car into cash at Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your car today and pay you right up front, but it gets way better. Because once they resell your old car, they share 50% of their profit with you. I was just at Wayscar Ford getting service on my new Bronco, and if you guys are regular listeners to Bump and Stacy, you know exactly what happened there. Meg, I'm looking at you. I caught up with Mark, the GM, and we were talking about the program. They've been sharing their profits with people utilizing the program for several years now. In fact, there's a whole page on their website dedicated to photos of happy customers with those giant, oversized checks. Mark said people take advantage of the program because it's so much easier than selling your car yourself, and you get way more money than if you were to just trade it in alone. Wayscar Ford offers a way to get a lot more money for your car without needing to go through the hassle of trying to sell it yourself, and that makes it a no-brainer. It's only at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn for over 100 years. WayscarFord.com.
Lafferty's EMS reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Text behind the wheel or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Lafferty's Emergency Medical Supply EMS. The ship's medicine chest since 1974. Online at Lafferty'sEMS.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
As a reminder, opening up phone lines, your question is going to be, are you buying into the Mariners? Bump and I are going to be talking about whether or not we are, why we think people nationally certainly aren't.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to Baseball Tonight, the new episode this morning, and Buster not surprisingly did not have the Mariners in his top 5, so I think it was all except for the Yankees NL team, so I can't blame them.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like, all right, I get it.
I feel you.
I think there are lots of folks that are still even favoring, the Astros, Rangers, a pretty good A's team over the Mariners right now. Are you one of them? Are you buying into the Mariners? Are you starting to get sold on what you're seeing? Are you still really hesitant? You're going to call in 866-979-3776. Before we get to that, Bump, the latest from the Cal Raleigh Show. Everything we learned from the Mariners catcher, including what he told Andres Munoz in a bases-loaded situation against the A's. Let's go ahead and go to that cut. This is what that conversation was like.
I mean, tough situation coming to the game like that. And, threw a pitch to Wilson there, singled, and the ball just didn't really sink. The ball's here. I guess with the elevation, it's not sinking as much, so you got to take that into account. But he put a good swing on it. Obviously gives up the run. The guy on second, starting on second, and then I went out there, and we didn't have any mound visits left, but I went out there and talked to him during that the review call and just told him, hey, best on best. Whatever happens, happens, but give him your best stuff. And he went out there and got 3 huge bunch outs, which was crazy.
Best don't miss.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it. That's he's like a therapist. If you're a catcher, you are a therapist. You're that best friend who you can call at 12 midnight and just unload stress and what's going on.
And they're always on your side?
Yeah,
so you did nothing wrong.
Yeah, but then you sprinkle in some nuggets of knowledge. You did nothing wrong, but try this next time.
Uh-huh.
You make them feel like they are in control of the situation, and that's big with catchers. And he's got to know the personalities of like 5 starters, 7, 8 guys out the bullpen. It's a full-time job making sure that your pitcher, no matter what is happening, feels like they're in control. That's why I wonder what the conversations were like with Wu when he got lit up. When for a first inning gives up 2 or 3, then gives up another 2 or 3 after that. Like, what is Kyle saying to a guy like Wu who's young in the game, who's still figuring some stuff out? Whatever he told him, I don't know if it was just Cal, which it probably wasn't because Wu is his own individual, and you got to be mentally tough in this game. But it works, man. So big ups to Cal.
I think that also lends itself to conversations that people have about why catchers can make great managers. like more so than any other position. And part of it is you just got to know ball at like a completely different level, but you also have to, and your catchers are typically kind of ornery, but also you got to like know how to work with a lot of different people and know how to calm people down and keep people focused and like not let the moment get too big. And I mean, yeah, it's just that there are so many guys, great catchers who became really, really solid managers. And I feel like it's that kind of mindset that always lends itself to it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a little more from Cal here. This was Cal talking about who he goes to for advice.
I mean, we talk a lot, staff, Garv. Obviously, I love getting another catcher's perspective, and I think that's something, that's huge, having, another set of eyes that I think is really good. Game caller, guy's been around, Mitch Garver. So, there's more. He brings a lot to the table in that sense. Obviously, I got Dan in there as well. I got pitching coaches. Obviously now we have all the analysts, so, I can match things up with my eyes and see how it looks. So, yeah, you're constantly talking with those guys as well as the pitchers themselves because they are the guys out there doing it. So, just kind of mixing and trying to figure out how to get the best out of each guy each night and what you may or may not have to do to try to pull that out of them. Okay,
I have a question for you.
All right.
One of the things that I have in working with athletes as co-hosts or whatever is learning how different sometimes the respect within a clubhouse or locker room or hierarchy or popularity looks compared to the outside. From the outside, people are going, get rid of Mitch Garver. He's not doing anything. Inside that clubhouse, you have Cal Raleigh, one of your leaders, your captain essentially, right, alongside JP going, I turn to Mitch all the time for advice. Like, he knows a ton. And I think sometimes the guys that are respected, that people might go to for advice, that are like good for locker room chemistry, and I'm not saying Garver is, I don't really know that about him, are people that it doesn't always translate to the outside because they aren't the best players. Have you been in a locker room where there was a guy that good for team chemistry, maybe a lot of people trusted, they went to him for advice, or maybe one of the smartest players you've known that never became like first team All-Pro or a Pro Bowler, but you were like, this guy just knows ball?
Yeah. My personal experience, it was a man by the name of Chris Jordan. I was a freshman at Wazoo, and he was a junior at the time, coming off a knee surgery, and his routes were just ridiculous. If he didn't blow his knee out twice, he probably would have had a chance to play in the NFL. But every question I had, I went straight to him. He was on that WSU Rose Bowl team. Had a lot of success, then got hurt, had to sit down for a year. We used to do these tests before our games. I'd copy his tests to make sure my answers were on point. Cheating. I was cheating a little bit, but then as I learned, I'm like, okay, I don't need you. Now I'm just checking my answers to make sure I'm good to go. But yeah, I think you need that guy. That guy typically becomes a great coach somewhere, whether it's at the high school level, college level, pros, wherever. That guy sees the game differently. And that's why you see a lot of the best coaches in the game were not great players.
Yes.
They were not, because they had to look at the game differently and see it differently and didn't have the athletic ability to just be raw and go out there and beat you. They had to understand movement and all that good stuff. So I think that you always need that guy on the team.
Yeah.
The OG who just knows the game and understands that you're more talented than him.
Yeah.
But this is what I had to do, so let me help you take it to the next level.
That's what I'm saying. It's like for every Andrew Whitworth or Richard Sherman, who are great as media folks, are guys where it's like, this guy just got it. And I think that from the outside, I've seen so many people, oh my God, Garver, get rid of Garver, get him out of here.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you don't know what he means to those players. It's kind of like when Carlos Santana was here, and it's easy from the outside to go, why is this dude here? And then you realize that like the idea of dancing after wins or a great relationship with Julio, being a leader in this clubhouse. And Robbie Ray was also like a big leader as well. That sometimes there are guys that from the outside they go, why is he here? I don't get it. And any player could be like, I'll tell you why.
That's what I'm hoping Solano is. That's what I'm hoping Solano is, man. JT was that for this team last year, even though JT did have his moments. He's struggling right now, though. JT's struggling.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes it's like you look at it and you go, why is this guy on the team? And then you ask a manager, you ask a coach, you ask a player, a former player, and he goes, oh, he is like the easiest person to talk to and just gets it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good point, though, about JT, too. That's another great example. All right, we are opening up phone lines. Bump and I are going to continue our conversation, and then we're going to bring you guys on to join as you want. 866-979-3776. Are you buying into the Mariners? Okay. Start with yes or no. It's sports radio. You better come with a take. 866-979-3776. You are starting with either yes or no, and then you're going to explain your reasoning for it. Call now.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At-bat by at-bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And if you love animals, you're part of our world. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or rain session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Mariners fans, it's time to bring the noise to T-Mobile Park. This lineup is loaded up and locked in. From every moonshot.
Cal Raleigh obliterates this. How far? Way back there.
To every how in the world did he catch that moment?
Up play. Air Williamson reels it in.
Be here as the squad shuts the door and lights the W.
Munoz looking for the final out. Here's the stretch, and that 2-2 on the way to Young. It is strike 3 called, and the ball game is over.
This is our house.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Try dance up.
Be here for this week's Mariners homestand. Cal Raleigh and the crew are taking on the Blue Jays tonight through Sunday. Then Aaron Judge and the Yankees are in town for a 3-game set Monday through Wednesday. Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets for these back-to-back AL East showdowns at T-Mobile Park.
Pinnacle Builders, LLC reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare for a safe ride home. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Pinnacle Builders, LLC. Family owned for over 10 years and featuring superior contracting and craftsmanship. Online at pbllc1.com.
Hope springs eternal during the start of the season, but unfortunately, so do spring allergies. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Rhine Air is a simple, non-invasive procedure that significantly reduces your postnasal drip and stuffiness. We're proud this year the Stern Sinus Center was just named a nationwide center of excellence. We're also excited to welcome another allergy surgeon and ear surgeon to our practice. Schedule your appointment in Auburn or Federal Way or go to sternsinus.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are back in business after an off day. They're back at T-Mobile, opening up a series against the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo on the mound for Seattle. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Fresh, cold, ice cold water that I am drinking
with flavor,
out of a
because
thermos
you
that
can't
I'm
just
using.
drink regular water.
No.
Because you have a complex going on with water.
Yes. However, I was going to use an analogy about drinking the Kool-Aid, buying the Kool-Aid. I'll get there eventually. This is Crystal Light, but I want to know if you're buying the Mariners Crystal Light, I guess. I'm going to get away from it. I'm going to backtrack. Are you buying the Mariners? Are you buying what they're selling right now, what you've seen right now through May 9th? This is a team with Curtis, second best record in the American League behind the Yankees.
Tigers.
Behind the Tigers. I keep forgetting about the Tigers. The disrespect I've had towards the Tigers. I want to know if you guys are buying it. Bump wants to know if you're not. If you are or you're not, let us know. And here we did make a rule, okay? You have to say whether you are or are not. For instance, Bump, if you have to answer truthfully, are you buying or not? Right now.
Am I buying?
On May 9th, are you buying the Mariners?
I'm buying a little bit. I'm buying.
So yes, starting with yes and then saying granted, it's on a, there are levels to this, but starting with gotta admit I'm buying it a little bit.
Buying it.
866-979-3776. You're gonna start with yes or no, and then you got to tell us why, and you don't have to be super against or for. Obviously, there are levels to it, like Bump just had, but you got to start with yes or no. Okay, let's go to Jack calling from San Antonio. Jack, are you buying the Mariners?
How's it going? First time, long time listener.
Nice.
I am 100% buying the Mariners right now. Even though our pitching hasn't been that great, our hitting has been, knocking it out of the park, Cal Raleigh, you can put him in any inning. He can be eating a hot dog in the dugout. You put him in, I know he's going to get on base for us. I'm 100% buying.
Thanks for the call, Jack. Great first call. Great tone to get this thing started, Bump.
Yeah.
Jack is buying, looking at what the offense is doing, and especially having faith in guys like Cal.
It's hard not to look at what they're doing offensively and be excited about it. I know you can be hesitant. You can say, oh, is this going to last? But Cal's been the most consistent thing on this team the last 3 years when it comes to swinging the bat. So there's no reason not to believe in that.
Right.
When it comes to Polanco, I get it. Like, I don't know what's going on there. When it comes to Julio, and let me remind you, like the last, just this month alone, he's got 2 or 3 bombs already. 330, I believe his OPS is around 800 or something like that. He seems to be warming up with the weather. That's the tough part, is people buying into what they're doing in the batter's box. On the mound, they're not having the year that they had last year, but people still see the potential once all these guys are back together. So it all makes sense.
Well, and there's something easier about saying, well, maybe the pitching hasn't been what it is because you have an early horrible start by Emerson Hancock where you would have had George Kirby starting with your rotation. Like you've had it kind of swayed a certain way. And it'd be one thing if George was playing awful and, if Gilbert was really just not finding the zone and not finding anything, but they just aren't healthy. They're hurt. Let's go to Brian in Maple Valley. Brian, are you buying into the Mariners?
I am not.
Okay, that's okay, Brian. Why not?
Well, because of the point you just made about the pitching, it's not so much the bad starts, it's the injuries that concern me. Until I see Kirby and Gilbert back on the mound, I'm worried that it's a long season.
Yeah.
They're going to burn out the bullpen, and they're just not going to have the gas they need to get over the finish line. And that's why I'm not bought in yet. When the rotation's healthy or reasonably healthy, then I think I'm bought in, but I'm not there yet.
Fair point, Brian. Thanks for calling. I thought Brian's really interesting point was also about the risk that you run when your starters aren't healthy, burning out the bullpen.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, we're looking at guys like Vargas. No one expected Vargas to play the role that he's played in the bullpen the last couple weeks. No one did. And I think when you see guys like him, it's tough for you to buy in and say, all right. And then you see Brash. And my question with Brash is, I'm like, is he going to last? Like, come on, just don't get banged up. And because you're not getting the quality starts that you're used to getting, you're going to the bullpen early and often, and you feel like you don't want to burn those guys out. As far as like running out of gas, when that caller was talking about running out of gas, I always think about like the 400-meter race. It's the worst race in the world. The best and the worst. Worst because it just tears your lungs up. The best because it's a sprint and just a long sprint. And that's exactly what the MLB season is. It's a long sprint. It's a 400-meter type of deal. You can say marathon, I understand that, but with me, the worst race I've ever ran was a 400 because it seemed like it took forever.
Yeah.
And the strongest ones with the best lungs and the best glutes and thighs and all that stuff, they find a way to finish. Are they thick enough? Are them glutes thick enough with the Mariners
Okay,
for
body
them
show
to finish?
Brock Heward here.
Love it. You know, we got to appreciate the body. Appreciate it.
Quickly, before we get to our next caller, Brady and Curtis bringing you guys in. I wanted to just take a second to talk about that bullpen. Are you guys nervous about bullpen usage, feeling okay about it? We asked Ryan Rowland-Smith the other day. He felt okay about Mooney right now.
I like that Munoz hasn't been asked to do too many multiple inning saves or a save that is, 4 outs, 5 outs, whatever. I think you kind of have to use him at this point. I mean, he's been the best reliever in baseball. Like, you can't just not use him. But I think Brash's return is going to be of the utmost importance for this bullpen because you just got to have another dog in that bullpen. And he, at his best, is that. But outside of Brash and Munoz, I am a little hesitant about what this bullpen can do night in and night out.
Brady, you nervous?
I'm slightly nervous with the bullpen, not based on the amount of usage. It's just the in and out of the various names that keep coming and going. Like we have Casey Lawrence back again, this time on a minor league contract. Feels so bad for that guy.
His fourth?
I like that he's in town in a Seattle and Toronto series because if he gets DFA'd, he just has to go to the other clubhouse.
It makes it easy.
Yeah, the only concern I really have is when the starter can't get past 5 innings. When you have to, especially on day one of a series, and you have to burn it too much, you then run the risk of game 3. Do these guys have enough rest? How many pitches did we give them? Can we make it through? Are we actually going to burn out these arms? It's May. We can't do that.
Yeah. Let's go to Connor on line 3. Connor, are you buying into the Mariners?
Yes, 100%. Without Julio being Julio so far this year, first base production outside of a couple games being pretty bad, and your starters haven't been what you're used to. They've won 9 series in a row. I expect this summer all of that to change. Starters come back, let go of some relievers a little bit, and good things to come.
Hey, Connor, is it the consistency with winning? Is it how they're winning? What makes you just think like, you know what, I feel pretty good about this right now?
Yeah, I think how they're winning. A lot of these games that they've won, you look at the game the other day against the Athletics, they were down 5-0. Last year, they probably lose that game.
Yeah.
This year, keep fighting. Again, without Julio being his best self yet, being the MVP that we know he can be, and without George Kirby at all.
Yep.
Logan Gilbert's been out during most of this. Luis Castillo hasn't been himself. I think all of those things can improve, and then the winning will continue.
Thanks for the call, Connor. Like Connor, have there been moments where you've watched games this year? You don't have to have a particular moment in mind, but if you do, please share it, where you thought, I don't know, that last year's Mariners won that game.
The last game against the Athletics, where you're down 5-0 with a few innings left, and you start to manufacture these runs. when you see Wu come out early and struggle, you get down. Like if it were 2-0, 3-0, I'm like, all right, maybe there's a chance that they pull this one out. But once you hit 4 or 5, I'm like, probably not. I told you a story. I'm sitting there at Moonshine Barbecue in Linwood, hollering at my boys, and my buddy makes a bet with my other buddy. He goes, Mariners win this game, and they're down 5-0. My buddy's like, easy $100 for sure. Let's get it. And they start to chip away, and I'm grabbing my buddy's shoulder like, oh my God, you're gonna win this bet. You're gonna win this bet. Last year, I would have been like, just give him the money now, because they don't have enough offensive production to come back from a deficit like this. So that's the difference. Like 2 to 3 runs, maybe. 4 or 5, I'm like, yeah, it's a wrap. I might change the channel.
It would have been so fun to watch that game with someone who down 5-1 was like, nah, they're gonna win.
The fact that he made the bet.
Like, right on the spot. He's like, I've seen enough.
And it was the guy who was down. It was like, they're down 5-0. He's like, yeah, $100
Sounds like
they
me
win
with
this.
a gambling problem.
It's crazy
Coming in going, they're
man.
going to do it, I believe.
My guy's crazy. Big up, Sean.
Craig on line 5. Craig, are you buying the Mariners right now?
Yes, I am. You know, I'm pretty much, maybe up to my waist, about to jump head all the way in, but I want to wait till the injuries are, George Kirby and Gilbert are back. I think that's one of the most important pieces. But I really am impressed how this team takes at bats. They're chipping away at the starting pitching. I think that's one of the most impressive things I've seen from this year compared to last year. Like they're getting these starting pitchers out of the game and getting to the bullpen, and that's really encouraging to me. And I think Julio, I think he's getting a little bit too much hate nowadays. He is about to turn it around. I've seen him put these quality at bats. Yeah, he's still chases some pitches every now and then, but not like last year. I think he's just on the verge to break out. I think by the end of the year, people are going to be shutting up because he's going to be hitting 270 and 30 and 30 again.
Love it,
That's
Craig.
just my opinion. And if I get my heart broken, I get my heart broken. But like you guys were saying, I'm going to just be positive for right now.
You know what, Craig? Thank you for calling. I love that approach from Craig. Like, all right, if I get my heart broken and I get disappointed, okay. But I'm also going to stand on business and say, yeah, I really like what I'm seeing from this team right now. So I kind of feel good, feeling optimistic. It doesn't make you a dumb baseball fan to look at a team like the Mariners, which has been really volatile, has been hard to predict, and has more often than not let us down and go, oh, I'm kind of excited, though. Like, it just makes you a baseball fan, dude.
You know what this is? It's any relationship that you go through. You have a partner. In the beginning, it's great. It's honeymoon, everything's fine, and they're showing you their best side. You haven't really seen if they snore, how they get when they're drunk, how are they with their finances. You're still figuring some things out. And I think that's where we are with the Mariners right now. It's like, it's honeymoon. Like, oh my God, great personality. I can go out with you anywhere. Like my friends like you. It's all good. And people who have been through some rocky relationships, Mariners fans, they're waiting for the true colors to be shown. They're waiting for the communication to dip. They're waiting for all these bad things because they've been through it before. But every now and then, you get into a relationship that's just great. And you ride it out, and there's some bumps in the road. Nothing's perfect. But in the end, you think, you know what, it's worth hanging around. I'm going to do this. That's what we're waiting for with the Mariners. Like, when's the point, and we opened it up with the show, when's the point where you get to the point where it's just, you know what, this is them. And I like who they are. I believe in them. Let's go ahead and make this official.
And for you, you agreed with Adnan that you kind of wait until July, but you thought, look, if they take a series from the Yankees and Padres, it's going to change my mind.
I'm saying.
It's going to make me a little more convinced.
I'm already buying, but they do that. I'm all the way in. I'm being vulnerable. I'm trying to fall in love if they do that. You know what I'm saying?
What did you make of Craig saying, Julio gets a lot of hate and is getting a lot right now, but that he's pretty confident he's on the verge of taking off.
Here's the thing. Julio. We're both jacked his name.
I know. I don't know why.
Put some respect on his name.
I know.
Julio has been on a little run. He hasn't struck out in 5-6 games or something like that. He's having quality at bats. He's squaring the ball up. His hard hit rate is up a bit. Yeah, this is what do we know about Julio is that eventually it starts to happen. And hopefully that's where we are. What we want Julio to do is ascend, and that plateau is going to be nice and high. Like, you stay up there. You can plateau at some point because this is sports and things like that happen. It says you can't ascend, plateau, and then go through that dip.
Right.
That's what we're scared of when it comes to Julio. But for the most part, he's showing you that he's close to really turning this thing around.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, you could plateau for a while, but what if you plateau at like 254 instead of like 190?
Yeah.
Like, what if you plateau at a pretty solid place for a little while?
I would love it.
Let's go to Brad in Florida. Brad, are you buying the Mariners?
Hell no.
Brad, why?
And I got one number that tells you why.
Okay.
36. That's how old I am.
So you've seen a lot of pain is what you're saying.
Single year. But am I having fun? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for calling, Brad.
I went to Mexico when I was like 18, right? Yeah. And I went out there and I met this girl and we had so much fun, but I knew it was going to end in like a week, right? Okay. That's our caller there. He's like, no, I don't believe in it. Right. But right now in Mexico, right now, all-inclusive resort.
I don't believe anything she's told me.
It don't matter, but we're here right now. We are here.
Brad said, look, I don't trust you, but I love you.
But I love you. In this moment, we're good for each other.
I love Brad. Let's go to Mike in University Place. Mike, are you buying the Mariners?
Yeah, I'm buying the Mariners. One main reason is they're pitching smart, and a couple people brought up like they're going to the bullpen, all that kind of stuff. You guys brought it up earlier. I just think they're pitching smart before they're going to the bullpen, and getting rid of a reliever and adding a bat. That's what Lou Piniella wanted back in the day, and so I wouldn't mind a trade like that. But just watching the way they're pitching, the way they're standing on the mound, their presence on the mound, they're conducting good pitches. They're not wasting pitches, even though they have to go to the bullpen. They're not wasting pitches. So I think Cal Raleigh and Dan Wilson as catchers really have an influence on that.
Thanks for the call, Mike. Are you guys buying the Mariners? 866-979-3776. Let's go to Linda. Are you buying the Mariners?
Absolutely, yes. I'm buying the Mariners. And Dan and Edgar, I trust. I want to take you back to 1995. When Griffey got hurt, what happened? The team stepped up. In August, we were 13 games back. So I'm an eternal optimist. Go Mariners and go Cougs.
Hey, go Cougs.
Linda, you didn't have to put that in there,
yes,
Linda.
She did,
no.
She heard that jab you took at me earlier.
Was I wrong, though? You were
you were wrong. And you jacked my whole analysis up. I'm in the zone. I'm flowing.
You sure
and then
were.
you just,
yeah.
And it's tossed that in there like that.
But what am I for if not to first support you and secondly troll you? It's a complicated relationship. You know what I mean? On the one hand, I'm like, I'm your point guard. You know what I mean? Take this shot. And on the other hand, I'm like, brick. Watch out. Don't let them do it. All right. The Mariners are back at T-Mobile starting Friday, May 9th for an exciting 6-game homestand featuring matchups against the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Fans can look forward to special theme nights and exclusive giveaways, making each game a can't-miss event. You can purchase tickets for all these games during the homestand at mariners.com/tickets. Let's get to 4-down territory.
This is 4-down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's the worst thing about Nick Chubb's NFL career?
Nick Chubb, man. Well, if you know anything about Nick Chubb, at Georgia, he had that nasty knee injury, and then he gets to the NFL, puts together 4 1,000-yard seasons, and then back-to-back years, it ended not so well with injuries again. Since 2018, he has the 4th most rush yards in the NFL. He has 6,843 of them things. He's first amongst running backs when it comes to yards per carry since 2018, 5.1. The worst part about Nick Chubb's career is that he is a running back and he's not going to be appreciated. And this is why, because they realize he's going to get banged up. He's got a few less yards than Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has made $38 million in his career. He's blowing Ezekiel Elliott out the water when it comes to rushing yards. He's made $78 million. Aaron Jones has made $41 million. He has more yards than all these guys except Josh Jacobs by a little bit. He's made $36 million in his career. It ain't chump change.
Right.
But when you look at his production since 2018, minus the last 2 seasons where he's been banged up, he is still top 4 in the game when it comes to rushing yards.
Wow.
This is why running backs don't get paid, because they're going to touch the ball 300 times. Everyone's diving at their knees, diving at their thighs. Bad things happen, and you have to get lucky sometimes in the NFL in general to hang around for a long time, but especially at the running back position, man. I don't think he is appreciated the way he should be when you look at his production, when he is healthy. And this is why running backs do not get paid the big bucks unless you're Saquon Barkley, who's making what he made in his career in about 1 year over there.
Like Nick Chubb. Like, he's so likable. He could have been a Seahawk. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Second down. Should Sam Darnold be ranked outside the top 20 when it comes to quarterback rankings?
Now, listen, Sports Illustrated put out their rankings for their quarterbacks in 2025. They got my guy Sam Darnold right outside the top 20. Not right outside. He was like 26, 25.
26?
Yeah. And so I'm trying to find a way to get him in the top 20. They got guys like Drake May in the top 20. You have Caleb Williams in the top 20. You even have Kyler Murray in the top 20. And this is based off of what they can do with their weapons and their feet, too. Like, Caleb can run the football. Kyler can run the football. Drake May can run it as well. Not looking to run, but he can do it. This is how he gets into the top 20. I think it might be fair because those other guys are just a bit more athletic than him, and they're banking on or they're waiting to see what he does this coming up season. But if my man Sam Darnold can rush for 300 yards, 350, and 4 or 5 touchdowns this year, I think that bumps him up because I feel like he's going to be able to toss at least 20 touchdowns. If he can keep his interceptions under 10, this is a playoff team, and he gets some more respect. So he's got some work to do. I get it, and I tried to make an argument for him, but I'm looking at the names in front of them, and their resumes just look better, and the potential looks better, right? Drake May is young. Caleb Williams is young. The Bears did a great job getting him a whole bunch of weapons. Drake May, they went and got him Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, and my guy Efton Chisholm III. Good luck today. He starts his rookie minicamp out of Eastern Washington. But, yeah, I didn't like it, but it made sense to me.
Third down. What's a stat you feel will improve for the Seahawks offense?
All right, so last year, Sam Darnold was not the greatest when it comes to sacks. He was 4th in the NFL when it comes to sacks, 48. Geno was 3rd at 50. You got Stroud at 52, and then Caleb Williams at 68. I really believe this stat is going to get better. The reason why I feel like it's going to get better is because I believe in Kubiak's adjustments and how he's going to move the pocket for Sam Darnold. I think that was a problem with the Vikings. They did do play action and all that good stuff, but moving the pocket to me is just like that half sprint look, right? Because you're going to rely on this wide zone. So this wide zone, those linemen are going to take hard steps to the right, hard steps to the left, and you're going to look like a wide zone. Do the same thing, half roll that thing, get the defense flowing, you're going to pop it over the top. And I think Sam is aware now. He's aware of his flaws because he hasn't had a season as successful as he had last year, obviously. And with that, you get so many reps. You get to look at your film and say, all right, this is where I can do better. This is where I can do better. And because he's been nurtured by Kevin O'Connell, I think that he was like that puppy who was on the block who nobody wanted, and O'Connell came and scooped him up, took him home and fed him, and now he's on TikTok looking all healthy and stuff. That is Sam Darnold. So now that he's healthy, he's been groomed, he looks good, he's eating good food, he feels good about himself. So he's going to bounce back. Kubiak's going to make sure he gets the football out of his hands. The sacks will go down next year. He will not be in the top, let's give him top 10. Baker Mayfield at 40 last year. I'll give him, he won't be in the top 5. I'll give him that. Won't be in the top 5.
Fourth down. What's something you pray for selfishly every day for the Seahawks? Won't he do it?
Every day. I pray for this.
Okay.
The schedule will be released here, the 14th?
Yes.
Send us to London, please. Please send us to London. There's a chance we are going to London. Because if they go to London, I go to London.
Can you think of how obnoxious you're going to be in London?
Oh, I'm going to be...
You're going to be unbearable.
I'm going to be like, y'all ain't got the real accent. My Irish people got the real accent.
You're going to be bouncing back and forth, though. You're going to be like, oh, London. Or you'll be like, oh, my God, he's going to get so mixed up.
Like, is he Irish? Is he British? Is he Australian? What is he? But I'm going to lean into that. I missed the last London trip because I was a head coach at Monroe High School, and I couldn't leave. If I was a coordinator, I would have been gone. But I was a head coach, so I couldn't leave. So I need my redo. Yeah. So for me, the powers that be, send us to London, please.
Now, what if you get to go to Australia next year?
Hey.
What if not London this year, but you get to go to Australia next year?
I'd rather go to London this year because Australia takes too long to get there. It takes way too long to get there.
How long is a flight to Australia?
It's like a full day.
I spent 16 hours on a bus.
It's a full day, man.
Really?
I don't want
24 hours?
I mean, I'll do it. I'm going to Australia. Ask Hyphen. I bet he hates going home. Like, he loves it, but he hates it.
Qantas Airlines from Seattle to Sydney will go 19 hours.
Exactly.
Like, I know that I'm going to sound real dumb. I didn't know planes could stay in the air for that long without needing to be like, we got to refuel.
You need those big boys.
But it's like, where's the plane gas station?
Hey, I owe 509 an apology. Irish. I didn't say it right. He called me Irish. I'm talking that. Give me some beer, and let's talk about Rory McIlroy.
Curtis has gone with this preposterous idea
Preposterous
that
or likely?
My Washington Huskies are cheating. And
Not the Huskies.
we would never.
Cheating?
We would never, but we'll tell you what's going on next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Nick Ebenwari is with us. Nick, how are you, man?
Super blessed, super grateful, but yeah, I feel like I should have gone a little sooner, but I landed in the right spot ultimately. Had a great connection with them, so I'm glad I ended up going to the Seahawks. But in my notes, in my phone, like I kind of had like the NFL, it's personal list, so like that's a funny thing I for myself.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Lake Washington Windows and Doors makes it easy to enjoy new windows with clean glass technology now and defer paying for them until 2026 with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We're a family-run small business that provides junk hauling, donations, and recycling. We'll give you an exact price before we start the job and get it done with a smile. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Headed outdoors or on the water this weekend? Check in with Joey and Nellie on the Outdoor Line from 6 to 8 a.m. every Saturday on SeattleSports.com.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the mountains or go pick up your dry cleaning? RV wins! Are we cleaning the gutters or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Are we getting a new passport or cruising up the coast? RV wins!
Don't forget, you got that trip to Sweden coming up.
Oh, yeah, passport, then RV.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates, other insurers, not available in all states and situations.
Baseball's back. It's time your yard stepped up to the plate. Synthetic Turf Northwest is Seattle's go-to for pro-quality turf. Perfect for backyard batting cages, putting greens, or just a mud-free play zone for the whole family. We install the best, we supply the best. And we're local-based in Woodinville with a new Fife location coming soon next to Sportco. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com, where the grass is always greener.
University Reprographics reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Please make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or ride share, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at University Reprographics. Family owned since 1973, online at universityrepro.com.
Brought to you by Integrated Rehabilitation Group.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
So, one Curtis Rogers, Michael Bumpus, do you find this shady as well?
Heck yeah.
Okay, so.
Heck yeah.
So,
we don't even have tinfoil hats on.
College football, college baseball's Reddit, subreddit, Twitter account, /X account, noticed a suspicious occurrence with the University of Washington baseball. The background that you need to this conspiracy theory that is not true is this. The Huskies are 27-22. They're in 5th place in the Big Ten standings, okay? So maybe they want to keep tournament hopes alive right now. You could consider them a bubble team. Maybe they're out of it, whatever. They were playing on Monday, Warner Pacific. Warner Pacific is an 1133 NAIA school. It was their final game of the season. It's their only game against a Division I opponent.
Oh, so they should have cleaned the house with them. They should have breezed by Warner Pacific.
So, Washington, my Huskies, were trailing Warner Pacific University 5-4 after 6 innings.
Uh-oh. They came back, right?
Well, so you enter into the 7th, you know what I mean? You got a close ball game. I mean, Washington's obviously going to run away with this one. And then the lights went out and never came back on.
Weird.
That's right. The lights mysteriously went out at Husky Ballpark, and they never came back on. The game was suspended, though likely will not be made up. A loss could have popped UW's playoff bubble hopes.
Yeah, the game's still listed as...
If it was them doing this on purpose.
It's still listed as suspended on UW's website.
Then make it up anytime, anywhere. Let's go. Not afraid.
Let them play.
I call shenanigans on
You think
this.
someone turned the lights off on purpose? Do you guys think someone turned the lights off on purpose at this park?
Yeah.
No,
I do.
don't.
To save their NCAA tournament hopes, yeah.
Yes, I do.
You cannot lose to an NAIA school if you're D1. Like, I'm sorry, that just can't happen, no matter the sport.
Look, they weren't losing. They were trailing, first of all.
Okay.
It's different.
That's losing.
They were trailing. It's not called losing. They're trailing. And it's 5-4. I mean, Washington's back in this thing.
7th
easy.
inning?
Heading into the 7th inning.
All right.
Which I believe should be... That's an official game once he gets past 5.
I mean, we just saw the Mariners come back down 5-1. You know what I mean? I think that you can see
the lights stayed on.
Right.
In Sacramento.
And if the lights were on, I think, my dogs could have gotten back in this thing easy.
I'd rather do what you said my university does than cheat like you guys just did. Than be straight
How
up
dare you accuse
cheaters.
us of cheating?
Straight up cheaters.
No.
At least we swinging.
Not
we
cheating.
throwing them things. You guys like, oh my God, it's getting tough. Hit the lights. Hit the lights. Let's get out of here.
Okay. I don't know that someone hit the lights. I will say there certainly wasn't a power outage that I heard of. in the Seattle area.
Yeah, right. The weather was fine on Monday.
I don't live very far. It was beautiful. It was like 70 degrees outside. I'm not sure what was
our
happening.
Our studio is just a few miles down from...
Right, but we have a very strong generator, right being FEMA station. So you got to consider that. Anything could happen at any ballpark, anywhere, anytime.
This reminds me of in high school, junior year, we had an assembly. The school hired a comedian. This is Kent Ridge High School. And the comedian bombed their set so poorly that our vice principal pulled the fire alarm so that we could all get dismissed early and and it was great.
Okay.
Like,
was this a pro or?
No, it was like a local comedian. She did not have a good day. And
poor baby.
Yeah.
I know. I'll say this. If you guys have ever seen like Veep or even like that in a mix of like Brockmire, this does feel TV show-esque. Like this would be an episode of something where they tell like an assistant in the stadium, like, go do something, just do anything. And then this person's like, what do I do? And now I'm imagining the guy from 30 Rock. It's just like, maybe you just pull the power. And it's like, what did you do? I don't know. You told me to do something.
Listen,
I am imagining that behind the scenes.
The fact that they didn't come back on, that's the thing. All right, lights go out. Cool. Cool. Hey, where's the janitor or whoever takes care of that?
Right.
Go ahead and fix the problem because this is the prestigious University of Washington. You guys have all that dang money.
Yeah. All that Adidas money.
Yeah, but we can't fix the lights. We can't fix the lights. Sorry, guys. We're done. I used to be a head coach at Monroe. Them lights would go off. The janitor go over there and turn some knobs and fix some wires. Boom, back up in 20 minutes. Come on.
I would like to say that while I will, even in the face of what certainly looks like shenanigans, always defend my dogs.
Supposed to.
I think that this is a team, Warner Pacific, that earned that win. You're in the 7th.
Yeah.
And it's your only D1 opponent. It's your final game of the season. I know that it hurts playoff hopes, even if they're slim. But, I don't know, man, that's a win.
It's a win.
Yeah, it's an official game.
Yeah, call it. You're in the 7th already.
Yep.
So
they're holding on to it. They're gonna appeal. UW's gonna appeal that. Actually, if you think about it,
our hands were tied.
Yeah, honestly, we had we had 2 on 1 out. You never know what's gonna happen. All right. Next story here in the timeline. On Thursday, ABC News reported that Pope Leo XIV grew up a Cubs fan. But that was a lie. His younger brother told Chicago's WGN he's actually, and this is much more heartbreaking, a White Sox fan.
Yeah, he was never, ever a Cubs fan, so I don't know where that came from. He was always a Sox fan. Our mother was a Cubs fan. I don't know, maybe that clued in there. And our dad was a Cardinals fan, so I don't know where that all came from. And all the aunts, our mom's family was from the North Side, so that's why they were Cubs fans.
But he rooted for the White Sox.
That's right. But where it came from, I don't know, because he would have been the only one.
Let me tell you what.
He said Southside all day. What'd it do, Chief Keef?
This man grew up a White Sox fan? That is love.
That's
that is
dedication.
devotion. That's dedication. In fact, he was spotted at a World Series. Someone found the Pope, not the Pope at the time, in a picture from the 2005 World Series. Isn't that cool?
Could you imagine him in that environment? The judgment that's going on in his mind, all the craziness that's going on. He's just staying calm and being his future Pope self.
And devoted.
That is discipline right there.
I saw somebody make a joke that he picked Pope Leo XIV because 14 was Paul Konerko's jersey number, which is retired by the White Sox.
Naturally.
Curtis, you had a theory about celebrity fame levels for a couple of different clubs because Bump is obviously a Lakers fan.
My theory is that the White Sox have the most famous fans of any pro sports team in the world. You've got Pope Leo, Barack Obama, and Michael Jordan. I don't know if any other pro sports franchise in the world is eclipsing that kind of fame with all three of those.
I don't think so.
I think collectively,
and they let them down every year.
Collectively, we got them. But those top three,
Lakers,
I mean, per capita,
no.
We got guys, but I'm saying no. I'm saying White Sox got it.
Okay.
They're top three.
Yeah.
Poops on all of us. It does. All right, but like you do with your UWers, I'm doing my Lakers. I'm like, hey, we got them. We got them.
Who do you think the 3 most famous Lakers fans are?
Jack. He's at every dang game since the 70s.
But most famous.
Denzel. Yeah, people know Jack.
But I think more people know Kim Kardashian worldwide.
I bet you Bill Clinton is a Laker fan. Give us Bill. Guarantee he's a Laker fan.
You think Bill Clinton's a Lakers fan?
I'm throwing stuff out there at this point.
Arkansas.
Exactly. No team in Arkansas. No team out there. Come on, give us somebody.
Is Adam Sandler a Lakers fan?
I found a picture of Bill Clinton with LeBron.
Good enough for me.
You're not gonna claim him?
Leonardo DiCaprio, he's a Lakers fan.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty mess. So Denzel, Leo, are you sure you want Jack for your third? I'm not saying
Snoop
he's not a
Dogg.
well-respected artist, but worldwide
Well,
fame?
actually, Snoop is a big one. Everyone knows Snoop. Snoop does covers for the Olympics. Like
Ice Cube.
They got us. Look, they got us.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna twist it. They
Yeah.
got us, but I mean, we got
Will
a lot.
Ferrell.
Got Adele apparently.
No,
Red Hot
you
Chili
guys have a
Peppers.
crazy lineup, but you don't have like it's kind of like when the Angels had Ohtani and Mike Trout, and you guys have like a 1 through 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, Trout and Ohtani.
Yeah.
But it's
the
like
Pope, Obama, and Michael Jordan.
and similarly, you're like, how did you not win more?
But what did Trout and Ohtani do?
Exactly, and you're looking at the White Sox going, oh my God, you got the Pope and Jordan and Obama.
No, they got us though. Those three that's crazy.
All right. Let's see. Time for the IRG injury report brought to you by IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. George Kirby is scheduled to make his second rehab start tomorrow at Cheney Stadium. Trent Thornton placed on the 15-day IL with appendicitis. Oh, my God. Feel better, Trent. The Mariners have recalled Troy Taylor from Tacoma. Also, GM Justin Hollander will give more updates on the numerous injured Mariners this afternoon ahead of tonight's series opener against the Blue Jays. We haven't talked a lot of Seahawks today, and, I mean, it's for good reason. The Mariners are hot. They're about to start this home series. Mariners Insider Shannon Drayer joining us at noon. Before we get to it, though, we always want to find a Legion of Boom era Seahawk again. 2 current Seahawks that do fit the profile of former greats and 2 that don't. That's next.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At-bat by at-bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Welcome to IRG's Sports Injury Update. We're with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and president of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, and our guest, Dr. Michael Dugella, podiatrist and fellowship-trained foot and ankle surgeon at Washington Orthopedic Center in Centralia and Olympia.
Dr. Dugella, thank you for joining us on the IRG Sports Injury Update. You're a foot and ankle specialist. Tell us about ankle sprains, particularly in athletes.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of injuries right now, even in the Seahawks. Nehemiah Pritchett out with a bad ankle sprain, typically on these uneven surfaces where we can get our foot caught or tumbled up within a dog pile. These rotational injuries can happen, tearing the ligaments. We have various grades of injuries that can affect people, which determines their return to play.
Talk about grading and return to play, i.e. a grade 1 versus a grade 3, let's say.
So grade 1 injuries are typically fairly mild strains and sprains. As we get up into the higher grade, these are where we end up with either partial or complete tears. Grade 3 would be a complete tear. That obviously makes it harder to get back. So early injuries, minor injuries, a couple of weeks out. As we get into complete tears, maybe closer to 3 to 4 weeks minimum.
So 3 to 4 weeks, if you've got a significant tear, that grade 2 or potentially 3, how do you diagnose these? What's the easiest way for you to diagnose these?
Clinical exam. The difficulty is sometimes they're very tender on initial examination. So sometimes you have to bring them back in several days as the dust settles a little bit. Sometimes MRIs are needed.
And generally speaking, based on the injury, a lot of it's biology. It's just time, healing, return to play. A lot of times you're going to assess cutting, stopping, starting, what the athlete can do on the field. But we're talking about generally around 4 to 6 weeks. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
All right, Dr. Gill, thank you for your time. Thank you for information. And thank you for joining us in the IRG Sports Injury Update. If you'd like more information on foot and ankle injuries, you can contact Dr. Dugella at waortho.com. That's waortho.com.
With over 40 neighborhood clinics around Washington, IRG has you covered. Let IRG be your family's physical therapist. Find the location nearest you at irgpt.com. That's irgpt.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. One of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Rick Riz here for the Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington's Improve Your Play program. Many of our local youth sports teams need help with field enhancements, training, and equipment. Local Pella owners Keith Dashafy and Luke Wilson are stepping up to donate $5,000 to 2 deserving teams. We need your help finding them. Head to seattlesports.com/play to nominate a deserving team in need. Let's help our local youth improve their play this year with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Contest and rules at seattlesports.com/play.
Emerald Queen Casino Event Center presents the main event. Powered by WFC, Saturday night, June 14th. A night of professional boxing where champions are made and every punch counts. Contenders from the region go toe-to-toe, ready to prove they belong at the top. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss Fight Night, June 14th at Emerald Queen Casino, the boxing capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I think that it's really natural to always want to make comparisons. I mean, shoot. Coaches and front office executives do this. I remember when LJ Collier was drafted, Pete Carroll on record post-draft was saying like, yeah, we wanted to find kind of like a Michael Bennett guy, and we feel like we really, really did. It's so natural to look at successful eras of Seahawks football. Maybe you're looking at offensive linemen that you love and remember from like an early 2000s team. Maybe it's a Legion of Boom era defense, or offensive players from that team, Russell Wilson, Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, obviously Marshawn Lynch. I always see like, okay, well, what's the Seahawk here that I can kind of use as framework for this new guy? And Bump, I think what you found is, look, sometimes those comparisons are fair, but sometimes we force them.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we're forcing them a little too much when it comes to some Seahawks that are going to be either new and exciting to watch or just veterans who are really important to the squad. And we need to stop making those comparisons.
Yeah, the first comparison I hear is Reek Woolen and Sherm. At least to start, Reek Woolen is kind of like taking a few steps back. But the reason why they're compared to each other is because they're both tall and long. You got Reek Woolen, who is a bit faster than Sherm, but he also played receiver in college, just like Sherm played receiver in college. Then you make the transition to defense. You get drafted. You're a Pro Bowler early in your career, and people were hoping for that. The thing that Sherm has on Reek is that Sherm would tackle you. Like, he will come up and tackle you. He wasn't a guy that was going to knock you out or do all that. He's a DB, but he will tackle you. So that's the first one. I'm like, nah, that's not a good one. Okay. Second place I'm going to go. I'm going to go at the linebacker spot. And KJ and Bobby Wagner were crucial to this defense, right? You throw Malcolm Smith in there as well, making his big plays. But we naturally want to compare the linebacker spot because we think of Legion of Boom. Your first place you go is to the perimeter and then that second level because that's where the ball hawks were in the big plays or whatnot. And listen, Ernest Jones is a great football player, but in his first few years, he ain't touching Bobby Wagner's stats. Tyrese Knight shouldn't even be in the conversation because he's just a rookie. So linebacker, nah, I don't see that either. So now let's go to the safety spot. And the safety spot, something that everyone is saying is that Imaware is like Cam Chancellor. And if you've listened to me over the past couple of weeks, you hear me say that he's got a little more Kyle Hamilton in him than a Cam Chancellor. There are certain characteristics that every safety should have. You should have a range. You should be able to cover sideline to sideline. You should be a good tackler. You are a safety. You're called that position for a reason. You're the last line of defense back there. You should be able to tackle. You should make some big plays because you're like a freelancer. You're walking around and seeing what's going on out there when you're deep into coverage. But to say MORI is Chancellor, I'd say no. There is no Chancellor in this league. There will never be, at least, I won't say never, but the way the game is played now doesn't allow for Cam Chancellors out there. Yeah. Cam would be in the box in today's game. They say, well, you know what? You're a linebacker. Let's put you on the edge and see what the heck you got to do. But because the game is played differently, you can't say that. He's more of a Hamilton. Has he made some plays in college that I think a Cam Chancellor would make? For sure. Has he made some plays that Kyle Hamilton will make? For sure. But you look at Kyle Hamilton and the way he's using coverage and in that nickel spot, that's more like what Nick is. So when you look at these positions, you can always find some type of trait that resembles another player from the past, whether it be Legion of Boom or somewhere else, because you look for some of the same things in corner. You look for some of the same things in linebacker and safety. There are things that boxes you need to check, and then there are the outliers like, oh, but he does this well. This guy does this well. So look, I know everyone is looking for the Legion of Boom. And let me tell you, it ain't happening. All right, you will never see that type of defense here again. The Baltimore Ravens had one of the best defenses of all time 2 years ago. Ain't nobody comparing them to that 2000 Ravens defense. It ain't going to happen. The Denver Broncos, one of the best offenses of all time. What is that, 2012, 13, 14, something like that, right? No one's looking at the Chiefs and saying, dang, they're like them. Negative. There are going to be explosive offenses and explosive defenses, but when it comes to finding that player that is just like one of the greats who have passed, I think that's so hard to do. They might resemble each other in some ways, but to say he is that player, I think it's tough.
Here's why I think it's good to separate those comparisons. We do them very naturally because I, as a football fan, want to have an idea of what kind of player someone is. Like if you tell me, he's kind of like, I don't know, like Doug Baldwin meets, I don't even throw in some other Cooper Cup. Like if I'm like, okay, so he's slight, like good route running, maybe like quick off, the line. Like I can kind of put in my mind what to expect from this player. It's your way of telling me as an analyst the things he's good at, right? But you also have to keep remembering, and this is what I remind myself of, not to, this sounds so stupid, but put that player in a box or expect from that player what another career looked like. So for instance, the Jalen Milroe, Russell Wilson comparisons, I keep wanting to be like, you guys, no. In fact, even with Jalen Milroe and Jalen Hurts comparisons, with Jalen Milroe and Lamar Jackson comparisons, like it's just, I think we very, very naturally want to draw those comps, but then not only do you limit the ways that you might want to utilize that player or the ways you see that player, it's usually really premature and a disservice to the former player.
Right.
Russell Wilson was a much more polished product as a passer, period, than Jalen was. Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts were as well. It doesn't mean Jalen Milroe isn't working with anything, but it does set up this unfair expectation that, like, oh, look out, he's going to be the starter week one. Well, hang on, he's got a lot of growing to do.
He's got a lot to do, and Milroe's a better runner than what Russell Wilson was.
So much better.
Right now, he's a better runner than he is. But, so there are things, I think it's natural for humans and analysts to want to do that, because just like you described beautifully, it's like, look, okay, what type of player is he? Right? When you get comps out there, like I comped Amarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina, to Jonathan Taylor. I don't think he's exactly like Jonathan Taylor, but his style is similar to Jonathan Taylor. So maybe that gives you an idea of what offense that he would flourish in. So it's a tricky game you play, and it's a game that allows someone to imagine the possibilities with a player. But when it comes down to it, man, your creator, whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, don't really duplicate unless you're talking about twins. Even twins are different, right? There's always something a bit different.
I can tell Mary-Kate and Ashley apart for sure.
I can't.
I can.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you during the break.
I can't do it.
Okay.
I'm bad with that
No,
stuff.
but I'll teach you over 5 minutes. You'll be able to tell them apart.
All right, I'm looking forward to that, that lesson.
Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joins us next.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do. Incredible comeback again from this group.
At-bat by at-bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
Well, I'm here with my good buddy, Dr. Dan Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine. And you've heard from Dr. Dan's patients over the years how a simple stem cell procedure has successfully conquered their pain. Well, folks, now it's my turn. After years of dealing with knee pain from all the football abuse, I can say my knee pain now is almost 100% gone. How'd you do it, Dr. Dan?
Well, Brock, personally, I'm very happy that you did so well. And your story is like so many of our other patients who come in, former athletes and non-athletes as well, who have come in with chronic knee pain, and they are looking for alternatives besides knee replacement surgery. And we're happy to provide this service. It's been truly a game changer for so many folks. It's just been a pleasure to be part of this.
Consider Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. I was in and out with a couple of follow-ups. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer. Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Hey, Cougs, Michael Bumpus here, inviting all WSU alumni and friends to the Cougs First Show and Career Expo, Friday, May 9th at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue. For education, networking, jobs, and Cougs swag. It's free to attend and all are welcome. Register at cougsfirst.org.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are back home with a series opener against the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Pregame show at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. Luis Castillo on the mound. Your NBA playoff slate, it's Heat Pacers at 4 p.m. Indiana leading that series 2-0, and OKC Denver at 7.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Shannon, 9 consecutive series wins for the Seattle Mariners, opening up a series tonight, 6:40 against the Blue Jays. What was you've been obviously, traveling with the team. You've seen it. Are you noticing the excitement or a feeling growing with each consecutive series win? Does it feel business as usual? What did it feel like coming back from that A's series?
I think they are just really excited to be playing the way they are. And the results are great, but, seeing scoring runs is fun. I think they are discovering that right now. And I think that they also, you hear the word trust come up with them quite a bit. I think it's a group that became very close-knit very quickly. And so I think for them, it's just kind of one of those situations that you just live for in this game where you look forward to getting to the ballpark every day. And so I'm not sure that's, necessarily 9 straight series in a row, but I think it is the winning. I think it is kind of the affirmation that what they're doing works. And I think it's also the fact that what they're doing involves everybody, that the entire roster is being used, particularly on the offense, and everybody is having success. And it's kind of different for everybody, but they've all been able to do what has been asked of them. So they're in a very good place right now.
Shannon, I was impressed with the way that Leote came in and just fit right in, right? Made a couple plays defensively, comes up with a base hit late to kind of to help this run. What is about the Mariners team or organization that kind of embraces these dudes? Because it's tough. And football is a bit different. We don't have guys moving up and down as often as baseball. How have they been so welcoming when it comes to these guys?
Well, Leote had kind of the advantage of knowing a few guys to start with, and then also being in division. So they see each other across the field, and then batting practice. Usually there's a lot of kind of back and forth going on. If you've got buddies on the other team, you go over and you talk to them during batting practice behind the cages, or, somewhere you don't go right over to their dugout or their clubhouse or anything like that. But there are some neutral areas on the field where you can talk. Sometimes it's as one team is coming out to take batting practice and the other is coming in, they'll stand in the outfield for a while and chat. So, he's had the opportunity to get to know this group pretty well already just from the exposure in division. So I think that really helps, and I think that he brought in a good attitude that, well, they want me. This is a good thing. And, it's a unique situation where Mariners just, kind of handed Texas, their lunch in that series. And the next thing you know, he is let go, and he goes to the team that won the last series that he played in. So great to see him get to Sacramento so quick. Great to see Dan put him right in the lineup. And, very fun to see him come through with a big hit. And as far as, what the group is able to do, it's something that has been ingrained in their culture for a long time. There's a lot of work that had gone into that in spring training, for many, many years. And ultimately you want that to be taken over by the players in the clubhouse. You don't want to have to coach that or preach that. And, that's what's happening. That's what has been happening for a few years now. And I think every guy in there knows that the guy next to them is somebody that can help them win. So why wouldn't you make them feel absolutely welcome?
Shannon, GM Justin Hollander is going to be speaking with you guys a bit later today, giving some injury updates. Give us a primer prior to those updates. What names are we going to be really interested in hearing about? What updates are you personally looking forward to hearing?
Well, it's kind of, we've been talking to Logan, so we've got kind of an idea of where he's at, but it's always interesting to hear if there's anything else. Because Logan has been with the team. He traveled with them. We've seen him play catch just about every day of this road trip with a couple of days off here and there. George Kirby, I think he should be going tonight or tomorrow. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. So to hear a little bit more about him, his first rehab outing, by the numbers, looked spectacular. So if you want to hear a little bit more about that, that would be fantastic. I'm kind of curious about some of the names that are a little bit further off that could help them in the bullpen. Jackson Coar is somebody that we talked about quite a bit in spring training because we saw him. He's coming back from a more extensive Tommy John than Matt Brash had. And also, Trevor Gott, where is he at right now? Is there anything new with Victor Robles? We'll check in with Luke Raley when we get there. I'm sure he'll be there so we can talk to him in person. So hopefully we don't hear anything unexpected in this one. We did hear about Trent Thornton today, and that's just a big yikes. Anytime there's an appendicitis, that's not good. So hope he's doing okay right now. I think just we're kind of midway through all of these injuries, and just I think the big thing is you don't want any surprises. And I know you always say things about the Cal Raleigh, but I'm going to cut you off here and get to it first. Cal had a really interesting – I'm sorry. Cal had really kind of an interesting take on Matt Brash and, what to expect from him on the Cal Raleigh Show this week. And I think that that's really kind of worth a listen. I think that sometimes – they get off, they come back from their rehab assignments and you think it's a full go. And then you got to think this guy hasn't thrown in how many days? He hasn't thrown in a game, and it's over 500 days. And he really kind of painted the picture of what it's like for a reliever to come back and from that kind of absence. And it's going to be an ongoing process for him to get back to what he was. And I think he really had some good words about that.
Shannon, one of the more fascinating stories, or just say fascinating story for me, is just the emergence of Carlos Vargas, right? I didn't know much about him going into this season. I'm obviously seeing the 6'4", 210 guy on the mound and throwing some heat. I did some research, but tell me about his journey to the Mariners and what were the expectations for him to start the season?
It's really interesting because we talked to him in spring training last year. Gary and I sat him down and did one of the big interviews where we put the headphones on him and everything else. And we did that because he was one of those pitchers that, you read about him and you saw the numbers on his stuff and you realized that he had really great stuff. Command was an issue with him. And his first few outings in spring training last year, not just the bullpens, but his actual outings in games were eye-opening. And just about after we finished that interview, then it all went downhill from there. And we continued to kind of follow him in AAA, and you saw the problems that had plagued him and kept him from being a full-time big leaguer. He had some cups of coffee here and there, and it was command. He had just this insane stuff, insane velocity, insane stuff, and he had no idea where any of it was going. And he has, he made the roster, I think, mostly because he had a decent spring and they weren't quite ready to give up on that. He was out of options. So if you sent him down, that was it. He was gone, probably, or maybe he would clear. Who knows? But almost from the get-go, what he has contributed, not just in the individual outings that he has made of one inning, but he is also showing that he can go multiple innings. I believe he's got 4 outings of multiple innings right now. One was that big early on in the season where they needed somebody to eat 3 innings, and he did out of nowhere. Had the 2-inning outing on this trip and then went out and got his first big league save the very next day. And what we're seeing from him is we're seeing the command, we're seeing the stuff, we're seeing, I think, everything people hoped he would be with the stuff that he had. But it's coming through, and it's been pretty fun to watch, and it was kind of one of the neatest moments I've had so far this year. Chose him for the walk-off interview when he got that save, and did it with Manny Acta interpreting, and just how thrilled he was to get that opportunity. And there was no way that he wasn't going to, be able to do that, even though he threw 2 innings the day before. So I'm very intrigued about where things could be going with him, because he has, I think, been very impressive this year.
That was a very cool moment to watch him get that. Shannon, I wanted to transition to talking a bit about Dan Wilson. It's one of the most common, both opinions that Dan Wilson is the most impactful thing, and questions. What's Dan Wilson's impact that we get from listeners? So I wanted to ask you, have you been able to talk to players, ask them, if there's a difference that they can see between Dan and the previous regime, and what are you hearing about any changes?
I haven't really gone too deep into a difference between one or the other. I think that, there are some things that we can see, and on the offensive side, doing things differently offensively, I think they've been freed up quite a bit from, what the focus was before. And when they're talking about keeping it simple, it's real. It's, and it's everything that you're hearing. It's up the middle. It's battling with 2 strikes. It is, go ahead and, early on in the count, you want to go for one. But once you get to 2 strikes, that's a team at bat right there. Mm-hmm. And see what you can do to help the team, to move things along, to get more pitches. And I think that, there is less focus on the swing itself, and I think that has freed them up quite a bit. I don't think there is as much, and there are guys that do like to really get into the numbers and do like to get into the technology and all that. That's all there. That's all available to them, but they're starting at a different point that is much simpler than what they were starting with in the past. I think that Dan has been a good communicator, and that has been key, as it's key with any manager. They know what to expect. They know when they're playing, and those things are very important to them. I think that his calmness and his patience is something that has helped out particularly early. I think that there are times when you're like, why isn't he making this move? Why is he sticking with a guy right now, right here? Well, it's actually sometimes kind of the time to do it earlier in this season, and sometimes that benefits down the road, that you did stick with this guy, that you did kind of show confidence in him. I think that's something that's kind of helped along the line and along the way with the pitching as well. So I just think for them, it's been very comfortable. You're not in a situation where you were last year, where, you get into a situation where a manager has been there for a long time. The team has come up short. There are obvious pressures, and I do think that was felt quite a bit inside the clubhouse last year, particularly in that, August and that late July when things weren't going well. I think that really starts to build up. Everything is new right now. You've got a little bit more freedom in that, and I think that has really helped the atmosphere around the entire club.
Shannon, not going to lie, I saw Polanco at second. He tried to make a play on a ground ball, and he just didn't look either confident or 100% healthy, and it scared me. And I said, man, get him off the field, and let's just DH him. What are you hearing about Polanco and his health, and do you think that we see more of him playing out there, or do you think that the plan is just to sprinkle him in and have him focus on the swing of the bat?
Well, I think that, I think he's somebody that you can use at second base, and he's not a priority at second base. His bat in the lineup is, and I think that if they have to do that, if they have a matchup that they want to get somebody else into that DH spot, they're going to do that. And I do think that, it was his first game out there at game speed, which is totally different than any of the work that you have previously done. I did think that he made a couple of plays where I felt kind of better about it. And I think for him, there's kind of probably a little bit of rust right now and just making sure that everything is okay, because he hasn't done that at game speed, not even in spring training this year. So I want to watch that a little bit more before I decide that, I'm going to have any concern about it. And to be honest with you, Polanco would be the first one to take himself out if that's the case. He's smart. He's a veteran. He doesn't want to, hurt the team by if his knee is bothering him. He knows that he shouldn't be out there, and he knows that he can DH. So I think that he'll be up front and honest with them where he's at. And, I don't think it's a situation where there could be more damage, but it very well may have been that he was doing some things that he hasn't done since the surgery. And so it did look a little bit off. I'm interested to see where that goes. I'd say so far so good, but regardless, you've got other options there. And I think that it is going to be basically, if that's where you need to have him in order to help the offense and get that bat in, that's what you'll see.
I know that an answer to this is, well, it's May. So that aside, have you been at all surprised by how, the early portion of the AL West has shaken up so far with, the A's being pretty competitive and, the Rangers obviously really struggling firing their hitting coach?
Yeah, it's funny because, I think we said coming into the season that this division was up in the air. And give me another month. Maybe it's not as up in the air as we think it is. I wrote about this on Seattle Sports because, that was a heck of a series we just saw in Sacramento. It was fun. These two teams matched up so well, and it was entertaining baseball. And I know coming into the season, the Rangers were kind of the darling of the prognosticators. They're going to they're going to dethrone Houston. It'll be the Rangers at the top. You like what you see in that roster, but they've had their troubles. The hitting thing is just, everybody in Texas, they were just scratching their heads over what's going on there. And, if Marcus Semien can't get it going, if you have another injury to Corey Seager, you're going to be in trouble there. And so we'll see what happens. I'm keeping a wary eye on it because I think, as you pointed out, Stacy, it is May, and a lot of things can happen. I'm not as, intimidated by what they possibly could be and what they potentially look like they could be on paper going into the season. The Astros are still, I don't care what they look like right now. We've said that for 2 years. They have had bad starts the last 2 years, and they've been right there. Now, they didn't get very deep in the postseason last year, and you're starting to see their flaws a lot more. But I still don't put it past them. Who knows what happens when moves are made? And I do think it is going to be a challenge to make moves this deadline because the American League is so down. And I think so many teams are going to think that they're in it, that it might make it more difficult. And, you might not have those big impact moves. We'll have to wait and see. But I think I can confidently say that the Angels probably are not going to be up there. And I think it would be a heck of a race and a heck of a summer if it were the Mariners and the A's kind of battling it out.
She is Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
Check out more from Shannon at Shannon Drayer on X.com or Seattle Sports. The Mariners are back at T-Mobile Park starting today, May 9th, for an exciting 6-game homestand featuring matchups against the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. Fans can look forward to special theme nights and exclusive giveaways, making each game a can't-miss event. You can purchase tickets for all of these games during the homestand at mariners.com/tickets. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one. Reports surfaced today that Bill Belichick's girlfriend Jordan Hudson has been banned from UNC's football facility, but the university responded by saying she's still welcome around the program. What's the real headline?
UNC announced it to Jordan by just putting child locks on the doors.
She can open them.
No, they got, those little, basically, it's like a little band. You know? You just put it right around there, and then she's just,
Couldn't do it.
Can't. And the outlets, too?
They pretty much just said, we ain't giving her a key card.
No.
Right? She has to check in when she gets here. And in my experiences, wifey got a key card. Like, the head coach is in the building. I mentioned this before. Mrs. Doba, rest in peace. She passed away when I was at Wazoo. Bill Doba, my head coach's wife. She was everywhere she wanted to be. When I was with the Seahawks, Holmgren, Moore, Wifeys were there. Now you got to understand your role. You're not walking around everywhere, standing on the sidelines at practice, being a distraction. But if you want to walk around, go to the cafeteria, say hello to your husband in the office, you have free reign to do that. But you also understand what your role is in the situation.
Yep.
I think that's the toughest part with Jordan is that she thinks she is the main attraction. And maybe Bill has enabled her to think that. Maybe he is pumping her up and saying, baby girl, you are the main attraction. But in reality, you are dealing with one of the greatest football coaches of all time on or in a football facility. Man, play the background, seen, not heard for the most part, support your dude. And when it's time for you to shine, like in your real estate stuff or whatever you do, he's going to do the same for you. That's how relationships work. I feel like she's still trying to nail that.
Yeah, Pablo Torre had the initial report and then retweeted the Carolina Athletics statement. And he was like, look, this is like well-sourced. Dozens of people have talked about this. I don't even see this as like, and this is me now speaking, not Pablo. I don't even see this as them backtracking per se, because I think the most important part is the first sentence. While Jordan Hudson is not an employee at the university or Carolina Athletics, I think that's still them. Like how they feel about it is still nestled in this statement. It's the very first thing they say. Jordan's not an employee.
She don't work here?
Yeah, I think what probably happened is internally they put up some boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Boundaries are important. They put up some boundaries, and they were like, hey, you can't dictate what happens here. Like, you can't go in this part of the facility.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get access to this and whatever that is over there.
Man, it feels like just her ego is so big right now. She can't handle it.
The commercial thing from Pablo is crazy.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 2, Texans rookie wide receiver Jaden Higgins became the first second-round draft pick to get a fully guaranteed contract when Houston signed him to a 4-year, $11.7 million deal. What's the real headline?
I wonder if Nicky Manwari, selected one spot behind Jaden, is looking to become the second.
Hey, you never know. You never know. I like this for Higgins, right? That's his name. Sorry. Receiver out of Ohio State. Listen, watch the film of this dude. Range is crazy. Routes are good. Hips look great. Goes across the middle, catches the football. He was the second pick in the second round, the fourth receiver taken. He could have easily been a first-round pick. They probably had him at a first-round grade. The craziest part about the situation is that he ain't even touched the field yet for them. Like, today was his first day in rookie minicamp. And they decided to sign him. So if they are that confident in this young man, I'm with it. I'm all for a guaranteed contract, especially in the NFL, because it hardly happens, especially for a second rounder. It has never happened. Start the trend. If you believe in your second rounder, go ahead and lock him down. Give him that guaranteed money. I'm all for it. You know how I do.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, Red Sox star Rafael Devers is big mad at Boston GM Craig Breslow for asking him to move to first base to replace the injured Tristan Casas. What's the real headline?
Normally a guy would be excited to get to first base, but not if you've already been to third.
Dang.
Oh, dang. That's one of your best ones.
Thank you.
That's one of your best ones.
I like that in the child block
Yeah,
one.
that's pretty
Today's
good.
were funny.
Today, you using your bag today.
Yeah, Curtis and I were workshopping that one during the interview a little bit.
Bag.
Can I read you the quote from Rafael?
Yeah.
He said, I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove, that I wasn't going to play any other position but DH. So right now, I just feel like it's not an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position. Emphasis mine, but I'm loving this. It was the GM that I spoke with. I'm not sure what he has with me. He played ball, and I would like to think he knows that changing positions like that isn't easy.
Listen now, let me tell you one thing.
He's making $300 million.
All right. He's made $91 million in his career. For $91 million, I will sit on a chair in right field and be the ball boy and toss the ball to fans out there. I do not care. I'm still getting paid. I can appreciate him wanting to be out there and contribute, but listen, my guy, come on, you do what's best for the team at this point.
Yeah.
Swallow your pride. $91 million you have made. What is going on here? You're going to make $27 million this year. Shut your mouth and play ball.
This is actual audio of Craig Breslow telling Rafael Devers to play first base.
You don't know how to play first base.
That's right.
It's not that hard, Scott. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly hard.
It's incredibly hard.
It's not that hard. Tell him, Scott.
Oh,
it's incredibly
man.
hard.
I mean, I get it. He's an athlete. He wants to be out there, but come on. At some point, it's just $27 million this year, buddy.
Do you think he's getting ahead of it a little bit by being like, I know I'm going to make an error, or I know I'm going to mess up, or I know that like I'm getting ahead of fans being annoyed with me by saying it wasn't my idea. You know what I mean?
I guess, but
I'm trying to figure out the motive of doing this.
I bet the Boston fans would appreciate it. They're just like, you know what? The team need me to be at first place. I'll be at first base. And then when he does make an error, they'll be like, he shouldn't even be there. That's why you need him at third. Like, the fans will have your back.
Exactly. They know ball.
If you just, especially Boston fans, right?
Yes.
Just go to first base. Change your glove. Go to first base.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Look, I hate them, but they know ball.
They know ball.
They, can't stand them, but they know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
In a conference call with Dallas, George Pickens responded to Mike Tomlin's critique about him. That's coming up next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Even the guys that if you look at their average and go, ugh, not off to a good start. Look at the on base. This team has been outstanding at working the pitcher, at taking walks. You look at Randy Arozarena, for instance. He's had huge hits. He's had some big moments that have been game-winning moments. But overall, he's not hitting that well. He's hitting 208, but he's got a 359 on base.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey friends, it's Stacy with a little bit of inside info. I know there are a lot of local business owners listening right now. This message is for you. Wayscar Ford is running great pricing on all of their commercial vehicles. Trucks, Super Duties, Isuzu FTRs, box trucks. The bigger, the better, and they have a ton of them. New and used models and a ton of 2025 models. I'm on their website right now. Here's one, $11,000 off. Another for $19,000 off. Wayscar Ford just expanded their heavy truck shop, and there are a ton of opportunities. They're looking for mechanics if anyone listening has heavy truck experience. Join a wonderful company at a dealership that's been in Auburn for 103 years. Take advantage of the amazing inventory and deals they have right now. Commercial sales and service for both Ford and Isuzu. A great option for people, a great option for families, and now business owners. I'm a proud customer. I know you will be too. Wayscar Ford, Isuzu in Auburn. WayscarFord.com. That's WayscarFord.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
G. Scott here with former Seahawk Doug Baldwin. Tell us about Nourishing Champions.
We know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers, and one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. So Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
High schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn more at championsofchangefoundation.org/Nourishing Champions.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade Event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet? RV wins! Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping? RV wins! Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach? RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Well, the seasons, they're changing. The guys are playing the sports outdoors. I know many are starting to maybe pull the lawnmower out and get back to the landscape and the outdoor work. I'm going to guess, Shannon, at IRG, maybe a little busier season?
Oh, absolutely, Brock. We know when the seasons change, particularly when it gets warmer, people are in their houses pretty much all winter long with our cold weather, rain, et cetera, particularly here in the Puget Sound. And everybody's excited. They want to rush out and get going with their activity. I'm telling you, as a physical therapist for 35 years here, you need to prepare your body. So take time to warm up, increase some flexibility, do some stretches, because if you prepare your body and prevent injuries, those activities outside, particularly that exciting thing, mowing your lawn, is going to be healthier and it's going to be a lot more fun.
And you feel better. For more info or to book your appointment today, simply go to irgpt.com. It's all waiting for you right there at irgpt.com.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start by revisiting a four downs topic, but going to get a little sound in here. Browns GM Andrew Berry says it's becoming increasingly unlikely that Cleveland brings back free agent running back Nick Chubb.
I wouldn't rule anything out, but I would say that it's probably increasingly unlikely. Like, we do have two young guys that we liked. We think Jerome plays a role, and it's basically kind of maybe seeing how the roles shake out and in the running back room. Look, you're never going to rule out someone as near and dear to our heart as Nick, and I would expect him to take another step, being a year removed from the knee injury. But I'd say it's maybe a return is less likely, at least in the short term, with us right now.
Like, I know it's not the easiest thing sometimes for people to feel bad for someone who's famous or a pro athlete or a millionaire, but I kind of feel bad for Nick Chubb. I do. I feel like he works so hard to get back into the game after these injuries.
Listen, it's a wrap for Nick in Cleveland. They drafted two running backs this year, Dylan Sampson and then Judkins out of Ohio State, two really good running backs. The writing is on the wall. It's unfortunate that he's gone through all the injuries that he has. That's the life of a running back. You give him 4 to 5 good years, and after that, you start getting injured, they will let you go. And he's made, $36 million in his career? Mm-hmm. Not bad, but probably worth about 60 to 70 when you look at his production.
What do you make for people saying, like, oh, bring Nick Chubb to Seattle? You've got a pretty crowded running back room already, I just want to say.
And unfortunately, they're young, and Chubb has been through some things with some injuries. So I think he's the guy that is either going to land up with a bad organization and be asked to do too much, or with a good organization and is asked to be the second or third guy.
Yeah. The NFL is expected to put a game on YouTube for free for the very first time this season. This is actually pretty cool. The game is going to be the Brazil international game on Friday of week 1. The Chargers are the designated home team. As a reminder, the actual schedule comes out on the 14th, and then if it's anything like years past, you get international games, sometimes some primetime games that are leaked or officially announced even a day or two earlier.
CBS, NBC, ESPN, y'all better watch out. Because YouTube going to be hitting them angles. YouTube is like that girl on Instagram who always takes the perfect picture. Angles on point. She knows exactly where to turn, the lighting and all that.
Yeah.
That is YouTube when you mess with those cameras. Y'all better watch out.
Can I show my age for a minute?
Yeah.
What I hope it doesn't become is the YouTube trend of someone being in the video and they don't add anything at all. They're just there. I don't know if it's so that they can like legally repost a video, but they'll be like, oh, I'm adding commentary, and they'll just go, wow, this, and then they point up, and you're like, you're not saying anything. You're not saying anything at all. It's like they're just interrupting you watching a video. It's the most annoying trend.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone does it. I don't understand it at all.
Their head.
But I'm imagining, yes. And I'm like, you are so self-obsessed that you need to be on camera when you're not contributing anything. I like to imagine that's how they're going to do it. It's just it's a YouTube NFL game, and they're just, wow.
You know what the NFL needs, though?
Nothing.
I believe it was on TNT or TBS, man. Datacast during baseball games, you get all these stats, man. I love that. NFL needs something like that.
Next up, in a conference call with Dallas media, new Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens responded to Mike Tomlin, saying that George Pickens has some growing up to do.
I feel like everybody in the world, is working on growing on their better end of themselves, and I feel like growth for me is taking a great direction and me coming to the Cowboys.
So I think that's actually kind of a mature way
That's
to answer
some growth
it.
right there.
That's growth.
That is growth. So hopefully he takes what Mike Tomlin says to heart, and it sounds like he's at least presenting like he does or has taken it to heart, because listen, man, Mike Tomlin, one of the most respected coaches in the game. They're stuck at being mediocre. That's why they're not be able to really take big jumps. But he gives players chance after chance after chance. And if he is letting you go and you are a productive athlete in this league, there's a reason. So George, it sounds like he's taking a step in the right direction, but the ball has not been thrown to him yet. There has not been incompletions. It ain't been third and short. Like, there are a lot of things that can influence a man's mentality and reaction to things. Right now, it's butterflies and roses. It's all good in Dallas.
And maybe it's something that prompts growth, right? Like, it could be that Mike Tomlin is 1,000% correct in thinking George isn't going to grow the way that we need him to here. Something about this atmosphere, maybe something about our relationship, whatever it is, but maybe feeling like they turn their back on him. I don't know. Like, it's kind of a mature way to answer, even if there's a little passive aggressiveness, but like, it's a fairly mature answer.
No,
and I wonder if like something about he might feel given up on, it spawns growth.
I hope his mom talked to him or somebody and was like, listen, boy, get right.
Is there another quarterback besides Aaron Rodgers that the Pittsburgh Steelers have their eye on? ESPN's Peter Schrager thinks so.
Kirk Cousins' name was coming up throughout the draft, and seeing if Pittsburgh doesn't get Aaron Rodgers, is that the move? I think Cousins is still a viable trade target, as much as they want to talk out of both sides of their mouth in Atlanta. Facts of the matter is, you're paying him a wild amount of money to be a backup quarterback right now, and he is still a viable starting quarterback. If there is a seat on the carousel that's open, it is Pittsburgh. So I would keep an eye on that one. It's out of conference. You have a relationship between Arthur Smith, the former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And of course, Raheem Morris and Mike Tomlin are as thick as thieves and have been so since their days in Tampa Bay together. So to me, that is a possible one I would watch if Rodgers doesn't put out the smoke of himself and says, hey, here's where I'm coming, and this is my opportunity to get in there.
I kind of like watching to see what happens if Rodgers overplays his hand here. That's the phrase, right? Overplay your hand, outplay your hand.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying.
I don't play cards, but I got you.
Yeah.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about free agent quarterbacks. These are the names who are left: Carson Wentz, Bridgewater, Beathard, Tyler Hunter, Jeff Driscoll, Desmond Ridder, Jake Fromm, Georgia Bulldogs.
Oh, cut that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go Dogs.
If Aaron Rodgers wants to keep playing this game, you have to go for Kirk Cousins. He's the most stable quarterback out there. Now, he's not a free agent. You got to go ahead and pick up that contract. But listen, something needs to happen pretty fast, because Aaron Rodgers is taking a sweet little time, getting ready for the party. He's about to get left. The Uber is here.
I'm feeling pretty good about our bet that we got going on for who's going to have a better season between Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, by virtue of Aaron Rodgers not being with a team right now at all still.
He'll get picked up. He'll get picked up.
No, for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Next up, is Derek Carr actually going to play in 2025? Speaking of quarterbacks we're wondering about, Ian Rappaport says the Saints quarterback is doing everything he can to be ready for the start of the season.
I believe Derek Carr would like to not have surgery. I believe he would like to rehab, get this thing right, get back on the field for week 1, which my understanding is still at least a possibility, but there's been no firm, he's not having surgery, he's good to go, or he is having surgery. And if he has surgery, it's major, potentially not playing next season. That's what nobody wants. So I believe he is doing what he can now to try to get back on the field for week 1, and we will see where it ends up.
Who'd the Saints take? I'm blanking.
Tyler Shuck. You got Chuck, you got Spencer Rattler, and Jake Heener in that room. 3 quarterbacks who had some interesting college careers for sure. So you want Derek Carr out there. You don't want to throw any of these guys out there. Spencer Rattler had his opportunity last year, didn't impress at all. Hender's bounced around to a couple teams. You want Derek Carr out there at least to start the season. I think Shuck is hopefully the future for the Saints. We shall see. It's hard to draft a quarterback late and him live up to that to those expectations, but you need Carr out there.
Next, last story. Did we get a hint into something Shedeur Sanders did in an interview that turned a team off? Mark Schlereth was on with Wyman and Bob yesterday. Said this.
The NFL, if you don't have elite level kind of next generation skills, like athletic skills, you damn well better ace all the interviews and all the meetings. And when you come into a meeting and act like you're just disinterested, or they put a mistake purposely in the playbook for you. So like, think about how easy it would be to throw in, like, label something trips right and you drop a trips left formation. And the quarterback like I would catch it, right? Like anybody who knows football would catch it. And if you don't mention it or you don't say anything about it, then that's on you. And those are the things that happened.
Bump. That's not good.
No, it's not good. He didn't help himself at all. He hurt himself. He should have thrown at that combine. He should have taken it seriously. He should have studied. He was lazy. It sounds like he was lazy through the whole process because he was convinced by his camp and his dad that he was going to be a top 10 pick regardless. He took this opportunity for granted, for sure. But listen, he's still in the NFL. He's at a place where he has an opportunity to compete for a starting position, but he lost himself a lot of money, man. I hope he learns from this and changes his process. Here's the thing. When it comes to football, he knows the game. You watch him process at Colorado, he knows it, but he lost himself a lot of money being lazy.
Yeah, I agree. And there's also, I've been wondering, like, is it a perception? If Mark had only said, oh, if you appear disinterested, well, there's lots of things that could seem. Like, a disinterested could be someone isn't being as engaged as you think they should, right? Like, it's a little more subjective. Laziness, like, you didn't clearly catch a mistake that they intentionally left, or you didn't clearly read through a playbook that they gave you. That's just lazy.
It is
to your
lazy.
point, like, that's a little less subjective, right? It's a little more obvious when someone clearly isn't trying.
And Schlereth is saying this, and he is connected.
Yes. USA Today's Bob Nightengale joining us at 1. Don't go anywhere.
Brock and Salk.
ESPN Baseball Insider Jeff Passan.
Big picture with the Seattle Mariners. What jumps out with this crew?
They're good. This is a game based around how many home runs you can hit and how many home runs you can prevent. And over the last calendar month, since they bottomed out at 3-7, Seattle Mariners hitters have hit the most home runs in all of Major League Baseball. Seattle Mariners starters have allowed the second fewest.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
What's up? It's Michael Bumpus here. I got something for you to do, man. Take an easy drive up I-5. You need a place to get away, to recharge, and get your mind right. I got the place for you, Silver Reef Casino. Make sure you go in, you check in, and check out their deluxe rooms with free Wi-Fi. They got tablets, it's modern, and you might get a good view. You're all settled in. It is time to eat. Let's have some fun. Go downstairs and visit the steakhouse and the new cantina if you're looking to mix it up a little bit. Now you've eaten, you might want to take a nap, wake up the next day, and play 18 holes at Loomis Trails. They have water everywhere. Bring your cheap golf balls. You are going to lose some. And they also have great events coming up. They got the Beatles versus the Stones, man. They got something for everybody at Silver Reef Casino. I went a couple weeks ago and had the time of my life. Everything I said is legit. So if you're looking for a place to go this weekend or whenever, make sure you go north I-5 exit 260 at Silver Reef Casino. Visit silverreefcasino.com.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible unforgettable red, white, and new trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See for full details and disclaimer.
Napa Auto Parts reminds parents the fatal crash rate for teens peaks at age 19, and we lose nearly 8 kids every day. Make a family agreement to never drive under the influence of alcohol or drugs, text behind the wheel, or ride with anyone who is. Always designate a sober driver, call a parent or rideshare, and let's bring our sons and daughters home safely. Best wishes to the class of 2025 from the entire team at Napa Auto Parts, featuring top quality parts at affordable prices. Visit them at napaonline.com.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
The Mariners are back in action at T-Mobile Park, and you can be there for big moments all summer long with a Flex membership. Flex plans are perfect for fans who want the freedom to choose their games and seats as they go, while still enjoying all the perks of being a member, like saving 10% or more on tickets with no fees, unlocking access to exclusive pre-sales and year-round discounts, and so much more. Join the squad today at mariners.com/flex.
Cal Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Conspiracy Corner. So this is inspired by a potential Pacers Thunder series. Obviously, they got to win in advance. Indiana up 2-0 over. I don't know why I keep saying over the Cavs. And then I think. What's it between Warriors? Are they even right now?
1-1.
1-1.
1-1. No Curry.
A fair question. Let's answer honestly. Okay. Honestly. Do you honestly think that any league has ever shaped the outcome of a playoff series to get to the teams they want in a final, in a championship?
I don't think the league itself have, but I think referees that have been corrupt have influenced games or tried to influence games, because there's only so much you can do.
Okay.
You can make a bad call here or there, but if someone just makes a spectacular play, it is what it is.
I don't even know if I think that.
You don't think referees have ever been like, I got money on this?
Well, yeah, we know that that's true.
Yeah.
I think it's rare, though.
Yeah, I don't think it happens a lot.
So, like, take the NFC Championship game between the Saints and Rams, and the part of the controversy is not just that it's a god-awful missed call, but that the Rams have recently moved to LA. Is this the league trying? Like, it makes so much sense for the NFL to want the Rams, an LA team, in the Super Bowl. This has been a relatively recent move. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it makes too much sense. Of course they're doing this. So I think it plays into this thing of like, of course that's going to happen. But I don't think that the league, NFL, NBA, MLB, or whatever, ever actually successfully shapes the outcome. But maybe I'm naive. I don't know. I know there are listeners that disagree.
I think there are meetings within the NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL don't really matter, productions, and they're like, man, I hope LA makes it. The things we could do. Sure. Like, I think they talk about it. I think they have plans for if LA makes it, if the Cavs make it. Oh, we hope LA makes it. We hope this team makes it because it's easier for travel. It's easier for production. I'm sure places have more resources. But, no, I don't think Adam Silver or Roger Goodell are sitting there saying, let's make sure this team wins. I do think that referees are influenced by their fandom with how they grew up watching the game, who they're calling the game against. Like, perfect example, Draymond Green last night got a technical, right? And he's flailing his arms. He gets the tech, and he deserved the tech. But then after the technical, he is just berating the referee for like 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Anybody else, Draymond's getting thrown out that damn game. But because it's Draymond, they're going to have more patience for him. They understand who he is. Just an example of how referees, they're humans. If that were some seventh player off the bench, man, we've been teched, you're thrown out, we're good. So there's a human factor that I think influences games, maybe indirectly, because they're caught up in the moment at times. I've ref games before and missed a call because I was like, ooh, that was nasty. And I'm still caught up in the moment. I'm like, oh, I missed that call. It was a church league basketball game. I missed that one.
Yeah.
So at that level, we got to remember that they're human beings. They're going to make bad calls. I think 1 out of 5,000 referees have really had an interest in the game. Be like, all right, I got to make sure we're good.
Stacy's obviously never actually watched Super Bowl 40. I have. But what I'm talking about is whether or not a league has ever impacted the outcome of games to get to a championship they want, and I don't think that's ever happened.
I don't think there's a way to prove it, but there's definitely like instances where, like you mentioned, the NFC Championship game between the Saints and the Rams.
Yeah.
We've gotten a few texts about it, and then also I was doing some research on it. The first thing that comes up when you search 2002 NBA Western Conference Finals, the next one is 2002 NBA Western Conference Finals rigged, because that was a series that Tim Donaghy was a referee in, Kings-Lakers. Notoriously, Game 6 was a 106-102 Lakers win to force a Game 7, and the Lakers in that fourth quarter shot 24 free throw attempts.
Stop fouling. Simple.
Well, I mean, who's in charge of calling fouls? The referees are.
But what I'm saying is there have been horrible calls, missed calls. Speaking of Super Bowl 40, which 40 people have texted in already, refs that have come in after the fact and apologized and said, oh my God, I messed that up. I don't know how many were impacted by the league. Donaghy was doing side bets for his own financial gain and hiding it from the league.
Right. And the reason why people kind of wonder about that particular series in 2002 is that if the Kings were to have won that series, they would have gone on to play the New Jersey Nets. Sacramento Kings, New Jersey Nets, NBA Finals, not that intriguing to the casual viewer. Lakers, Nets, at least there's, the Lakers who are a national brand. The one thing that has always like the Saints-Rams one to me is interesting because if the Saints win that game, isn't that the more appealing Super Bowl to the casual viewer? Tom Brady against Drew Brees?
One would think.
That to me would be more interesting than what we eventually ended up seeing was one of the worst Super Bowls ever.
Yes.
A 13-3 game where the Patriots beat the Rams. But all those points about like the NFL wanting to establish LA as a credible market and wanting to like give the Rams, scratch their back a little bit for doing the NFL's dirty work. I mean, sure, there is that, but I have not bought into the Rams Saints conspiracy as much as I've kind of wondered about that Kings Lakers series.
So you do kind of buy into that conspiracy.
I mean, Tim Donaghy was on the floor for that game.
Yeah,
like he is the most crooked referee in American pro sports history.
Yes.
We all know him to be just this
like having been
sideways guy. Yeah, and so I mean, how can you not wonder about that? I mean, the guy was there.
Bumped
he was.
You.
I mean, I've heard nothing but he's a good guy. So I'm just all this hate, these documentaries going out.
Oh God!
I mean, come on, man. Everyone makes mistakes. He's a good.
I will say, I had a chance. I had a chance to briefly talk to Tim Donaghy on the phone one time.
Did.
We had him on with the late great John Clayton, probably like 5-6 years ago, and like Tim Donaghy was. In the brief correspondence I had with him was very accommodating, very nice. So, but you know,
most crooks are, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say they will be nice to your face and then stab you in the back.
This is what. Okay, so the 425. The NFL is not a league; it's an entertainment business. Look at the Chiefs; they've gotten favorable calls the last few years like crazy, and I do agree they have gotten favorable calls. However, I think if MLB, NFL, the NBA, if they had control like that truly and were shameless about it, we'd have Yankees, Dodgers every other season instead of just last year. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have gotten Rangers, Diamondbacks.
I think baseball might be the hardest to really control. I mean, if you don't swing at a pitch and you allow the umps call it, but I mean, if you're just making contact, I mean, it's hard to control baseball.
All right, USA Today's Bob Nightengale joining us next.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At bat by at bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Did you know that your windows and doors are your main source of energy loss? At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, our windows with triple weather stripping and gasket seals are up to 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards. LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
You have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility, not just where your insurance company tells you to go. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. With over 25 years of auto repair work, they'll exceed your expectations.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
At Accurate Auto Body, all their work is performed by certified technicians, only using OEM parts to guarantee the safety of you and your family. For the best in auto body collision repair and customer service, give them a call at 425-883-2450 or AccurateAutoBodyWA.com. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
We at 3 Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can can save you thousands if you qualify. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and, of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Mariners are back in business, back in action, really, after an off day. They're opening up a series here at home against the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo on the mound for Seattle. First pitch at 6:40 p.m. Pregame show starts at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. USA Today's Bob Nightengale joining us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Bob, how's it going?
Doing good, Stacy. Hey, Michael.
We're happy to have you, and we're happy to be talking about a Mariners team that's in first place. That being said, it's May 9th, and Bob, I know there are not a lot of believers, which is completely fair, especially for a team with so many question marks entering the season. Is there anything they're doing as a team that has at least piqued your interest and made you wonder if they could, make a push for the playoffs?
Yeah, certainly that starting pitching for sure. To do that without Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, that's stunning. You say, okay, can these guys stay healthy again? They're not, but they're still winning. So that the offense is, nobody saw that coming. Where the offense is, bigger and better than ever. I mean, we haven't seen offense like this in a number of years out of Seattle.
Going into the season, that rotation was thought of to be one of the best, if not the best, in MLB. So as it stands right now, how does it compare to the rest of the league?
Right there with anybody, in the league. The benefit, with these guys being hurt and Gilbert and Kirby is that when they come back, they should be fresh arms, less innings, and everything else. So that's why nobody's wanted to see the Mariners in the playoffs last year, just because that rotation's so good. it's easy to, carry a team like that all the way to the World Series.
Hey, we spoke with Buster Olney a little earlier last week, and he said he couldn't remember a time when there had been such a disparity between play in the National League and in the American League. Can you remember a time where it felt like the leagues were this different, where, you get your top 5 teams might all be NL teams?
Yeah, certainly. It used to be the other way around, where the American League was so much stronger than the National League. But, yeah, I agree. For instance, American League East, I can never remember it being this weak. It's always been, so powerful. And now it's like, hey, just, there's some nice teams in there, but no juggernauts. But, yeah, I think if you say, okay, who's the 10 best teams in baseball, I bet you say 8 of them are coming from the National League.
The Mariners, they're an interesting team in a sense that we're trying to figure out when to buy some serious stock in them, Bob. And we started our show asking our listeners, like, are you in, are you out? And 85% of them said, yeah, I'm definitely in with this team. Is there something that you still need to see for you to be in on this team? Is it time? Is it a performance from a certain player, a stat? Like, what are you waiting for if you're not completely bought in yet?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in on them. You look at that division too. I mean, there's no Dodgers or Padres in that division. Texas kind of replaced what switched narratives. Texas can pitch now and they can't hit. Houston's been up and down. So no, athletics, I think they'll fade over time. Just they don't have that kind of depth. So no, I think they have as good chance as anybody. And, what we talked about before, with the American League being down, you make the playoffs, you have as good a chance as anybody to get to the World Series.
If we are kind of picking apart the roster a little bit, is there a particular Mariner that you've been especially impressed by? And then conversely, Bob, is there anyone, I'm guessing maybe Julio might be one of them, that you're kind of waiting to see a little more from?
Yeah, certainly Polanco. I mean, the fact is they, non-tendered him, didn't give him the $12 million option. He's a free agent. Anybody in baseball could have had the guy. They finally said, okay, we'll take you back in February for just $7 million. And then for him to be playing, like a top 5 MVP candidate, that's stunning. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Raleigh's course, showing he's one of the best all-around catchers in all of baseball, particularly with the home runs he has this year. Crawford's been fantastic in the infield. And, yeah, you keep waiting for Julio Rodriguez to step up, and that's another encouraging sign. It's like, hey, they're doing this without Rodriguez getting hot. So, kudos to Kevin Seitz, the new hitting coach, and people before him. Because the Mariners were talking all spring long, like, okay, we think he can carry over for what we did last September, and they've been right.
Hey, what do you think about the bottom of the order, like the Ben Williamson, Rivas, throw him in there. You have Leote. I mean, we've seen some names, and with this team especially, I think obviously in all of baseball, you need your 1 through 9 to kind of do their thing. But I think it's a lot of pressure on these dudes towards the bottom to really contribute consistently. Do you think there's enough there for these guys to kind of hang around, or do you still need like the dominant performances by Cal and JP and Polanco and hopefully Julio soon?
Well, I think the bottom orders can carry their own. I mean, when you look around bottom orders, I mean, who's got a great one? Maybe the Diamondbacks do, but it's tough to find. I'll be fascinated to see Taveras. I think that's one of the more intriguing storylines going forward is, okay, here's a guy the Texas Rangers gave up on. They could not trade him. And here's the Mariners, I think, surprised everybody by picking him up. And certainly it shows that, okay, ownership more serious about winning you thought. Like, okay, they don't mind picking up $3.5 million. What happens at the trade deadline? But that's encouraging for all Mariners fans. That okay, maybe ownership will step up and give Jerry DiPoto more money to play with.
Hey, Bob, when Julio first came onto the scene, I think it didn't take long for people to be kind of blown away by him. He especially captured national attention at, obviously, his very famous home run derby that he didn't even win, but he was the name that everyone was talking about after the fact. And I think since then, opinions have kind of split. it may not be 50-50, but I think a lot of people locally are wondering, like, well, can he be consistent? Is he as great a prospect as we were hoping he could be? Bob, you're obviously well connected with other national reporters, right? And you talk about this team from kind of a step back perspective. I'm wondering what those conversations are like about Julio now, if you think that they've evolved, kind of what the conversations are, I guess, if I were to be a fly on the wall that you're having with national guys about Julio.
Yeah, I think we tend to just blow up these prospects so big and just make them like, okay, this guy's going to be next Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, what have you. It doesn't work that way. I mean, probably the best young guy out there is Ellie De La Cruz, the Cincinnati Reds, and he's still been up and down. Churios has been okay with Milwaukee. In Pittsburgh, O'Neill Cruz has struggled. So it still takes time with young guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, Seattle native Corbin Carroll, with the Diamondbacks, that's an outlier for him to jump in and still playing this great at such a young age.
Is there a young name on this roster that you've seen that gets you excited? I mean, I've watched Emerson kind of turn the corner and get going. I talked about the bottom of the order. I've seen Ben Williamson have his moments as well. Is there a name that you've seen, a young name that you think has the opportunity to kind of be here for a while?
Yeah, I mean, nobody jumps out, but still such a young team in general. Still what fascinates you most is just that pitching. Whether it's a Wu, a Kirby, that sort of thing. To see these guys doing it, Logan Gilbert. That's why I think the Mariners are thinking, wait a minute now, we're only going to have these guys a few more years before they really start making the big money in free agency. But our window is now. Let's take advantage now before they get too expensive, and we can't keep them. We can't keep $200 million pitchers as free agents.
And the next two series at home here are against AL opponents, the Toronto Blue Jays and then the Yankees. I know that a lot of fans have their eyes set on that Yankees series, even though it's very early to kind of see how the Mariners stack up. But, Bob, hoping for a little bit of a preview from you with both of these teams. What have you seen so far from Toronto? What's standing out, and what's standing out about New York?
Well, the Blue Jays are just, kind of mediocre. I mean, they got Vlad Guerrero, George Springer is playing very well. They're pitching, but they just take two steps forward and fall right back. It'd be interesting to see how many Blue Jays fans will be in attendance, because usually it's always Blue Jay fans. Maybe they'll be switching allegiance to the Mariners. But the Mariners should take 2 or 3 games. Then when the Yankees come to town, it's a real good test. They're facing the best pitcher in the American League right now is Snell. Max Fried. So Max Fried should pitch in that series, and they're a solid team. They're not a great team. I think that that series against the Yankees will be fascinating. I think they'll be very curious too, just to say, okay, where do we stand up? Where do we stand here?
Right.
If we can beat up the Yankees, we can beat up anybody in the American League. Right now, the best team in the American League might be the Detroit Tigers the way they're playing. Nobody saw that coming.
Well, what do you think about the Mariners bullpen? There have been some names that popped up, done their thing. Disappointed that Santos started off rough and has been sent down, or is he injured? We've seen Vargas, Brash is back. There's just I feel like there's some momentum starting over there. Spire has done his thing as well. Just your thoughts on the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is a closer. When you got, is doing his thing, it goes from there. If you don't have a closer you can trust, and then it just, wipes out the entire bullpen. Everybody's in different roles that they don't want to be. Everybody's uncomfortable. So it starts with him and goes back. So no, they've held their own. They've been very steady. There's only probably 4 or 5 elite bullpen closers in baseball right now, and the Mariners certainly have one.
Hey, what's been your early impression, and I know that impression started late last year, of Dan Wilson?
Yeah, when he came in, it just it thought it was like a breath of fresh air. It happens a lot when you change managers. It's a different voice, everything else. I think it helps too the fact he was such a influential figure in Mariners history with his playing career, and it's carried over. I think you just kind of try to simplify things, not worry about analytics and numbers, and just playing your game. I mean, I think it's why the Texas Rangers hired Brett Boone to be their hitting coach. It's like, hey, let's just go away. Let's go back to old school and just trust how you feel and things like that, and don't get bogged down with numbers. And I think that's why, Dan Wilson's been so successful there, and they've certainly embraced him.
Are you seeing that as a common thread? I noticed the other day you tweeted about Juan Soto, talking about his transition to the Mets and how important Carlos Mendoza was for that. Granted, that wasn't necessarily Carlos Mendoza simplifying things. I don't know what that was, but it's. I've been wondering about the relationship between manager and players and how impactful a manager can be. Do you find that around the league, maybe simplifying things is one thing good managers have done well?
Yeah, and I just think they say, hey, I used to play too. Obviously it's got service play as well, but just some different voice in their head. Let's not worry about what the computers are saying and everything else. Let's go old school here. And I know that's what, Texas is doing there. And, different teams are taking an approach. Look at the San Francisco Giants. They got rid of their analytic guy as their GM, Farhan Zaidi, hired Buster Posey, who was, of course, a future Hall of Fame catcher with the Giants. And they've certainly warmed up to him, even though he's on the dugout every day or in the clubhouse every day. They're playing a whole lot better baseball than they had the last few years, I think, by just simplifying things.
Do you feel like is there something you've seen in baseball that you feel like, oh, it's messing up the game? Because, I do this segment called Get Off My Lawn, and Bob is when I turn into just a grumpy old man, and I just complain about stuff in sports or in life. Is there anything that you've seen in baseball over the last 10 years that you feel like, all right, the game can probably do without that?
Some things change. I think sometimes we get caught up in forgetting how the rules change. Like last year, for instance, talking about Ohtani, hey, is this the greatest season ever? No, it's not. But it's so much easier to steal bases now. With only 2 pickoff moves, I think they should have a few more than that. It's like everybody can steal bases now. If they guys like Ricky Henderson playing, he's probably still 150, 200 bases a year, that sort of thing. So I think the history gets messed up. And same thing with the extra innings. I wish they started the runner on second base, starting in the 12th inning and not right away. That sort of thing.
Really good point about the stolen bases. I like that, Bob. USA Today's Bob Nightengale, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure, my pleasure. Take care.
Have a good one. I hate to give you this one. That's a good final question for Bob.
Why you hate to give it to me?
Because I'm already down. Because now I'm down 1-0. Yeah. I haven't gotten any good questions today.
Oh, so you gave me one.
I know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
But
That's to make up for her saying Coogan it earlier in the show.
Yeah, I felt bad for that.
Oh, you felt bad? You might as well take it right back. Oh, that was a good one. Actually, I felt bad, Bob.
It was a good question for Bob, though, and I wondered what he would say. I wondered if he'd say Ghost Runner because I know another Bob that we know. I don't think Bob Stelton was a huge fan of Ghost Runners when they started. I can't totally remember, though. Maybe I'm getting it backwards.
Hey, you two back there, Brady and Curtis, Ghost Runner. Remember playing baseball as a kid? Ghost Runner was something totally different. Like, we don't have enough. There's a runner here. If I get a double, that guy's automatically scoring. It's crazy to hear it using this context now.
It's funny to call it a ghost runner now. It's not a ghost. There's someone actually there.
Right.
It kind of demotes the purpose.
It was actually a ghost when we were playing.
Back in the day, it was a ghost. It was you know that someone had died.
That's the thing, is that
Brady.
You have to sacrifice a person.
Yeah. And it was crazy. Baseball was just wild back then. Yeah. The Mariners are back at T-Mobile Park starting today for an exciting 6-game homestand featuring matchups against the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Fans can look forward to special theme nights and exclusive giveaways, making each game a can't-miss event. You can purchase tickets for all of these games during the homestand at mariners.com/tickets. Let's get to 4-down territory.
This is 4-down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, what's the worst thing about Nick Chubb's NFL career?
Chubb, man, he's obviously he's been banged up, he's been hurt, and he hasn't been appreciated since 2018. Since my man entered this league, he has the 4th most rushing yards in the game, 6,843. Since 2018, he's first amongst running backs when it comes to yards per carry, 5.1. He has been one of the best running backs when he is healthy. And it's unfortunate that his career is taking the dive that most running back careers take due to injury and just slowing down. You know how many old receivers I've seen just kind of find a way to find the zone, sit down, catch a football, and go? You can last longer on the outside. Granted, there's always some young guy trying to take your job. Ezekiel Elliott has been paid $78 million. Aaron Jones has been paid $41 million. They've been in the league around the same time, yet Chubb is only $36 million. I say only $36 million because in context compared to everyone else, he hasn't been paid a lot. It's just hard to see one of the potential great running backs in their career this way. I think he's either going to land with a bad team and they're going to ask him to do too much, or he's going to land with a horrible team, or excuse me, a good team, and just be the second or third guy. If I'm him, that's the way I want to go out. I don't want to go out with this horrible team. I'm taking all these hits. Then I got to pass pro. At some point in your career, I think you have to reevaluate and say, who am I and what do I bring to the table? But then there's a competitor in your head that's saying, you still got this, Nick. You got 1,000 yards in you, Nick. Let's go get it. And I'm not mad at that person if he wants to go ahead and get that. But go ahead and milk out another $8 million in 2 to 3 years and ride off into the sunset.
Second down. Should Sam Darnold be ranked outside the top 20 when it comes to quarterback rankings?
So Sports Illustrated put out their rankings and had our guy at 27. 27. They had Anthony Richardson in front of him.
What? No, they don't.
Anthony Richardson.
They do not.
They're talking about, it's more, let me specify, like fantasy points. All right, so they're saying Anthony Richardson is going to produce more fantasy points, even though my man hasn't played a full season. They're saying Cam Ward is going to. J.J. McCarthy is going to. And I tried to find a reason to put him in the top 20. And the guys that I would challenge will be Michael Penix, because we've never seen it. We only saw it for 2 or 3 games.
That's wild.
I would challenge Drake May because he's a rookie, only done it for a game or for a season. And I would challenge Caleb Williams. I think he's going to be fine because they've invested so much in that line and weapons over there. But I think Sam Darnold, I'm gonna send him this list.
Let him know.
Keep a chip on your shoulder, man. They drafted Milroe. They're saying, just in case, Sam, we got somebody for you. And now Sports Illustrated is being disrespectful. If you put up the numbers you put up last year, which is a big ask, I don't expect them to do it, but anywhere near that, you're gonna be one of the more productive quarterbacks in the game. Last year, he was like 4th when it comes to total yards or something like that, through 30+ touchdowns. It's Sports Illustrated and everyone else are asking the same questions that the fans are and that the Seahawks are. Can you do this again? It was great last year. It looked good. Can you run it back? I hope you can.
I think Anthony Richardson is a phenomenally gifted quarterback. That being said, he had 8 touchdowns. 8. At that point, it's like, you're moving the goalposts. For some guys, you're going past production. For other guys, you're going potential. Why don't you just go
What did he do?
What did he do last year? How was he as a fantasy quarterback? And, how does he look in this new offense? Because if that's what you were doing, is it going to be Daniel Jones starting week 1 or Anthony Richardson? I don't know.
I'm saying, Danny Dimes, go get it.
Dang, I didn't think I'd feel this defensive for one Sam Darnold. Third down. What's a stat you feel will improve for the Seahawks offense?
I guarantee you. Guarantee this. Yesterday, I said they'll be better in the red zone. They were converted touchdowns on 57% of the time, and New Orleans was 58% of the time. Now we're talking sacks. Sam Darnold was the 3rd or 4th most sacked quarterback in the game behind Geno, Stroud, and Caleb Williams. That's the number I'm going to focus on. I'm going to say he will not be in the top 5. He might be in the top 10, but we got to crawl before we walk, right? He will not be in the top 5 when it comes to sacks. And the reason why is because I'm thinking that Sam Darnold, at his young, old age of 27 years of age in the game, too many times saying age, he's going to learn from this. In Kubiak's offense, I think they're going to protect him. All right, you're going to have 2 tight ends. You're going to have a fullback. You're going to run the football. You're going to boot. It's going to be so deceiving that if you do decide to blitz, all right, there's going to be layers out there. He's going to pop it over the top, hit his tight ends, hit his receivers. I think that this is a year of growth for him. You know how at the beginning of the year, especially women, you guys put out all these memes. This year, I focus on me.
I literally said that to you the other day. I said, oh my God, everything's coming up, Stacy.
There you go. See? So that's Sam Darnold. He's
me
going
and
to be
George
like,
Pickens. It's about growth.
This is a year of growth. It's a year of peace and whatever the heck. That's what I think Sam. That's what I think Sam is going to be. He's going to be that lady on Instagram with all the positive motivational quotes, learning who he is.
4th down. What's something you pray for selfishly every day for the Seahawks?
2 years ago, the Seahawks played in Munich, and I went on that trip, and it was awesome. I was tired. I was overworked, but it was awesome. Even got a chance to go to a Sports Illustrated club party. Germans, know how to get down. Like, they don't care who's watching. They be dancing.
Yeah.
I'm like, how you learn that? And then it's like, that's not a routine. He's just letting his body just go to the music. It was beautiful, right? All right, I want to go to London now. All right, NFL, please send the Seahawks to London so your boy can go back to London town. It's been maybe 15 years since I've been. So selfishly, when I pray tonight, I'm going to say, dear Lord, sweet baby Jesus, send the Seahawks to London.
I want to go to, I want the Seahawks to play in Majorca. It's where Love Island UK films. So the Love Island Villa is there. And I just think it would be really cool.
I'm sure they would fill the park.
Yeah, perfect demographic overlap for that one with Love Island UK viewers and NFL fans.
That's
it's
called
a perfect circle.
That's called diversifying your portfolio.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Mariners are on tonight, opening up a series at home against the Blue Jays. Luis Castillo on the mound for Seattle. First pitch at 6:40. Pregame at 5:30 right here on Seattle Sports. What I need to know coming your way at 45 after. Get those questions in 866-979-3776.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do. Incredible comeback again from this group. At bat by at bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, fight fans, Bob Stelton here from Wyman and Bob. How'd you like to sit ringside with me at Excite Fight MMA? Seattle Sports is hooking up one lucky winner with 2 VIP tickets. That's right, you and a guest for an unforgettable night of fights on May 24th at Muckleshoot Casino Resort. These seats are right next to the cage, right next to me. You're not going to find them online. This is a one-of-a-kind experience. You can enter right now at seattlesports.com/win for your shot at a fight night you're never going to forget.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimer.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger, Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Mike Salk here, and luxury awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, where comfort meets elegance. And this summer, you can experience the breathtaking Cascade views, the world-class dining and entertainment, and elevate your next getaway by combining effortless style with the utmost relaxation. Plus, Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel's award-winning outdoor summer concert series is back with amazing artists like Hanson, Austin Jenks, Melanie Fiona, and POD. This summer, overlooking the beautiful Snoqualmie Valley, snocasino.com for tickets. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
My teacher is the best because she gives us pajama day.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, sponsored by WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Hey, it's Graz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and their newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Okay, what I need to know, get your questions in, any question you have right now, 866-979-3776. That's coming up at 45 after. Before we get to that, you, Bump, asked Bob Nightengale, who was just on with us, hey, Bob, last question for you before we let you go. You let them know. I do this kind of segment, on Wednesdays, Get Off My Lawn. I just kind of rant about things. And I'm just curious. You've been covering baseball for years and years and years. Is there something you think is, to you, kind of ruining the game where you're like, oh, man, I could do without this? And he said he would prefer that ghost runners not be implemented until the 12th. And that he thinks that conversations about, in particular, like stolen bases or just certain things we're seeing from athletes now, that we kind of forget to pay respect to people from the past who did it under tougher conditions.
Yeah.
So I figured I would ask all of us and listeners, if you want to chime in, the same question. I love these conversations. It is a Friday at 1:30. Like, this is a casual, we're kicking it kind of conversation. I'm just saying, like, this is a fun conversation. I love these conversations. Okay, you got to do away with one thing that's ruining the game. The game can be any league, any sport, whatever it is, but just one thing where you're like, I cannot with this. It's ruining the game for me. Bump.
Oh, man, I'm going to the NBA. All these dang three-pointers being put up, man. Like, I get it. I get why it's going that way. You blame Steph Curry because he made it look so dang easy. Now, everyone else are jacking him up. And the team who won the NBA championship last year, Boston Celtics, shot the most threes out of anybody. And now you look at them in 2 games, they've made 25 three-pointers out of 100 attempts. And 48 of those, according to ESPN, were uncontested. So that just means they're just missing their shots. But the reason why it ruins the game for me is because I grew up watching the Spurs play. And the Spurs have one of the best half-court offenses I've ever seen in my life. It's beautiful watching them play. And when you're shooting up all these threes, it eliminates the big man, right? If the game was back in the day like it is today, Shaq ain't Shaq. Like, there's no need for a Shaq. And I love
Which
watching Shaq.
Which is kind of sad, though, to think about. It is.
Tim Duncan could kind of be Tim Duncan because he had a mid-range and he's a bit more versatile, but there's no David Robinson. Hakeem might be able to play in this game because he's a bit more skilled, but I'm talking about just the big, nasty, big men, the Alonzo Mournings, the Patrick Ewings. Like, they don't have a place in today's game.
Yeah.
And that's what I miss because basketball used to be a physical game, and now it's so finesse. And I respect the skill that these dudes have because the handles are crazy, the jumpers are crazy, but there's no half-court offense. I just want to see an offense be ran and executed, and we hardly see that.
Yeah, it's like you can respect the game and athletes for evolving, especially in ways that make certain three-point shots really impressive or that make someone's game, like a Steph Curry now is like, wow, like the game allowed for someone like this to flourish and head up a dynasty, which is really cool. But you miss something else. Yeah, Curtis.
I'm going to go to the college realm for this one.
Are you going to say transfer portal?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Conference realignment. I hate how the leagues are spaced out nowadays. I want to hate the teams that are in the Pac-12. I don't really care about anybody in the Big 12 or in the Big 10 or anything like that. And I think every fan of those schools is in lockstep with that. And it makes for a much more watered-down product, not as much passion when you're going up against these teams that you have zero history with. And it's not even like the teams that are like the arch rivals. It's just the teams that like every single year it's like, oh man, like Cal always gives us problems, whatever, UCLA, blah. And like that stinks that we out here on the West Coast got kind of left behind when it comes to just what college athletics is going to become going forward. I hope that there is some kind of resolution where you can have these West Coast rivalries played more regularly outside of just non-conference play. I mean, it would be great if one day there just aren't like the Big Ten, the SEC. It's just like 4 divisions, whatever, West Coast, Northeast, South, whatever. But yeah, conference realignment to me has really taken a dagger to just a lot of the passion that I had as still have as a college sports fan.
It's crazy how much the West Coast did it to itself a little bit too, or the Pac-12 rather, because you think about, Bump, I know you can speak to this, like you think about where talent comes from or some of these like historic programs, like how did USC in a conference get left behind? And I know technically they aren't, like they abandoned ship, they went to the Big 12, like I get it, right? Like they were kind of, if anything, like leading some of this. But they decided to do that along with Cal, in part because of what the conference had become. But it's like you are one of the most well-known brands in California. You want to talk about being a hot spot for recruiting.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Brady, do you have one before I get to the text line?
Yeah, I'll go for it. I mean, first off, I will agree with Bob Nightengale. I don't really see how the limited pickoff does anything to help the game of baseball at all, but I will stay in the baseball realm. One thing that I don't really like within the game of baseball, for one reason, is the platooning aspect of a lot of players. Because you do it solely based on the starting pitcher, left or right, and I always like to see my everyday guys out there.
Yeah.
And these guys are professional ball players. If you're a left-handed hitter, you should know how to hit a left-handed pitcher, and you're not going to get any better at it currently in your state of play if you never get to see it, and then it kind of creates a little bit of inconsistency when you don't really get to do it. You burn your bench a lot quicker because today starting pitchers don't stay on the mound as long, so you're not going to have to face them too many times. I just think it's a little something that came up recently where I get it for health reasons, but I don't get it solely for the pitching aspect.
Yeah. To the text line. Flopping.
Soccer.
Someone said get flopping out. Flopping in soccer is what they said
specifically. Not women's
specifically.
soccer. They be going hard, but the men be flopping.
They flop. A lot of people agreeing with you on the NBA one, and Curtis as well with conference realignment. A couple people said mine was going to be just transfer portal, just adding on to that, where it's like I, on the one hand, understand how important it is for athletes to be able to, it's the same way I feel about NIL stuff, like how important it is for them to be able to get theirs and how lopsided and like wrong morally it felt. But man, when you watch your national championship team completely disseminate, like completely gone, there is nothing like just being like, no one's left. Everyone's gone. You go from watching the best season of your school that you can remember to being like, I don't even know most of these players.
UW.
Yeah.
Aw.
And it was
Cry
a
me a
bummer.
river.
And it was a bummer.
WSU, D1 JC. We send everybody off to make money. Man, get out of here
And
with
it's
that.
a bummer. And it is.
Man, the messed up part is that you want them to be able to be where they're comfortable, and get their money. But
exactly. It's like you want both things. It's kind of like if it was the opposite, if neither of those things existed, I'd be sitting here talking about how players should be able to make money off names, images, and likeness, and why do schools, whatever, and then a player gets punished for, the stupidest thing, and then here I am going at the same time, and that doesn't mean it's the wrong solution.
Yeah.
Like NILs, students being allowed to own those is right. But what do you do now? And what it feels like is the NCAA has kind of been like, well, we're not getting involved. You guys wanted this, which it could be so much more productive.
College referees in football and baseball, let the kids have fun. Get out of the way. Let them have fun.
Yeah. Someone says we need rivalries spotlit more. Nothing better than good sports beef.
Yeah.
I wonder if theirs would be free agency.
What do you mean?
Like free agency has, I think it's important to have. I have no problem with free agency, but it has done away with those lifelong, like you're this player for life. And because of that, you do hate the 49ers. It's not, I don't hate the 49ers because Seattle claimed me off waivers 2 years ago from San Francisco and I still have friends there. Like,
I think in football it lasts longer because of just the tradition of football. Like the Steelers, who are the rivals? Who say the Steelers rivals are? The Bengals, right?
Ravens.
The Ravens. Like there are some that are like
Bears,
cemented.
Packers, for
it's like
sure.
you can't. You feel like there won't be any new ones generated because of the activity of everyone moving around and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I saw like 2 players go from WSU to UW and UW to WSU. I'm like, I would never in my life. Maybe if I was getting paid $1 million as a 20-year-old.
Well,
but
second thought.
Second time today, there is a price, but we'll do something for her.
Pass interference is called too liberally for my taste. Pass interference and spot of the foul penalties were also 2 really common ones on the text line. It's just being like, change it.
Change it to what, though?
That maybe it's automatically 10 yards or a first down instead of necessarily
only reason
spot of
why
the foul.
I think it should be a spot foul is because if you're cooked and I have a potential touchdown in front of me and you just grab me and we get 10 yards, it's like, nah.
Right, then to you, fair. As opposed to, okay, well, we're in the red zone, but at least he didn't get that touchdown. We have 4 more tries here.
Yeah.
If they're an aggressive offense. But yeah, pass interference being called too liberally in general, I can see that. Or roughing the passer being called too liberally would probably be more so for me. All right. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
Rowdy Tellez, 3-run home run, and the Mariners are right back in it.
Make it 9 straight series wins for baseball's hottest team.
This is what winning teams do.
Incredible comeback again from this group.
At bat by at bat, they find a way.
Tonight, the Mariners are back home in the first of 3 against the Blue Jays, with Wyman and Bob live from T-Mobile beginning at 2 on the home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports. And every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
This year, tee it up at home with Synthetic Turf Northwest. Dial in your yard and your short game is sure to follow. Synthetic Turf Northwest is your synthetic grass expert. Install a custom backyard putting green or just a mud and mow-free lawn the neighbors will envy. They do it all. Residential, commercial, and turf supply. With locations in Woodinville and soon Fife. Mention Seattle Sports and save up to $1,000 off your project. Visit syntheticturfnorthwest.com.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
4 Down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in 866-979-3776. Sports, non-sports, doesn't matter. I have a lot of food ones today. Someone said, Bump, have you ever made mac and cheese with Cougar Gold? And if so, how did it rate?
I haven't, but I would imagine it'd be the best mac and cheese known to man. That Cougar Gold, it's good. It's expensive too, though, but it's good.
I'll give him that. Let's see, 866-979-3776. So there's this little league mom that is always dressing up, and you can tell putting a lot of effort to look nice, says one listener. Is it okay for me to compliment her? I'm married, and for now, as is she. But I was wondering if Bump ever compliments fellow moms or Stacy other guys. Are compliments still okay in 2025?
Not if you're married, bro. I stay away from that.
Be careful.
I stay away from that. No, sir. And it's sundress season. Oh, stay away from it. Don't do it.
I am never bothered by compliments. I encourage everyone to compliment me at all times, all day long. You do have to be careful how you're giving them. I don't think it's bad to say.
Just don't
no,
do
really?
it.
I don't think it's, oh my God, you look so nice.
No.
I'm with Bump. Just keep your
Really?
head down.
You're married? No. Do not do it unless it's your mom-in-law, sister-in-law, and respectfully.
Okay.
Stranger danger. Don't do it.
If the Spurs landed Giannis, would they be the favorite in the Western Conference next season?
Negative. They would not.
What if they landed Giannis and won Monday's draft lottery and got Cooper Flag?
Now we can have a conversation.
Cultural or regional, says one listener, calling it a weed whacker or weed eater.
It's a weed whacker.
It's a weed whacker.
I call it a weed whacker.
I've never heard anyone call
regional.
it a weed eater.
Weed eater? That sounds like some Midwest stuff.
Yeah, because it whacks him.
Yeah.
It doesn't eat them. Be so for real. Next. What I need to know, also regional. It's a soft drink called pop or soda.
That's soda.
It's soda, yeah.
Pop is down south and Midwest.
That I've heard far
And
more
East Coast,
often.
too, I think.
Yeah, I've heard pop. That one makes sense to me, and that one is absolutely regional. Where do they call it a weed eater? I can't get over that. I've never heard that in my entire life.
Thing?
Maybe.
Someone texted it and it said, just sit by your wife and shut up. Don't say anything.
Brother.
Oh.
Don't do it.
The wife thinks she looks nice too.
So it's a setup.
Oh, man.
It's a setup.
Okay.
She wants you to say
this
something.
This is a trap. It's a trap.
This is what will happen. All right, it's happened with my mom-in-law. My father-in-law was looking too hard. Maybe it said something. So then my mother-in-law was like, oh, you like her? So then every time now that girl walks by, my mom-in-law was like, hey, there's your girl. There's your girl. Don't do it.
Okay. Someone said, bro, he sent that in so she would hear it. I'm not playing a part in your sick game. Let's see. Will seemingly everyone on the Seahawks getting engaged or married this offseason help or hurt them come the start of the season?
I think it helps them. Lock them in. Get locked in. No distractions.
Yeah, focus.
You know? Be on your LeBron stuff. Savannah, LeBron. Do that.
While I'm typically pro-worker, says another listener, as a Seahawks fan, should I be opposed to guaranteed contracts when they aren't required to get or keep a great player?
No. You shouldn't be opposed to it. No.
Shouldn't be opposed to guaranteed contracts?
No. I'm just a players guy, and
Yeah.
the NFL, man, it's not for long. So you should be happy these guys get money.
What if the NFL came out and said every single contract is going to be fully guaranteed from now on?
It's gonna make. I mean, the NFL and these owners make the most money out of any league.
Yeah.
But they don't spend like it because of that salary cap. So I think they can afford it. It'd be good.
Someone said, you millennials, it's pop. Sorry. Are
What?
young people calling it?
What?
What do you mean?
No, they're saying they're Generation X or baby boomers. They're calling us
Oh,
young.
I thought they were saying young people are calling it something else now. And I was like, no way.
No, my kids call it soda.
Yeah, it's
You know,
soda.
they call it nothing because I let them drink soda.
Oh, so they're saying that older people call it
Yeah.
pop. Can any Gen X or baby boomers confirm if they call it pop or soda? Maybe it's generational and I didn't realize it. I thought it was geographical.
Every person I know in the South calls soda pop or Coke.
Yeah.
They could want a Sprite and be like, let me have a Coke.
That's what I thought it was. 866-979-3776. Someone said, I call it a weed eater. You all are crazy.
Weed eater.
So you're simply insane.
Sounds some Boston. Get the weed eater.
Yeah, get the weed eater out of here. What I need to know, group question. Brisket or ribs, slaw, no slaw, hush puppies or french fries?
Brisket.
Brisket, fries, slaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the correct plate. You guys disagree? You guys have bad food opinions?
Ribs
I don't.
are
Never have.
incredible. I love ribs.
Oh, but
I'm going
brisket is
ribs.
so
Gotta give me that
good.
brisket.
Yeah.
My mom just texted me and said it's pop. She's also from Mississippi, so
See, again,
there's that.
I feel like there's some regional stuff at
Some
play
influence.
here.
It's regional influence.
I need to ask my mom. I'm still getting her to get texting and listening to the show. Let's see. Someone said old millennial, 1982. Definitely call it pop. Was born and raised in Oregon and Washington.
82, I mean, like, I'm borderline millennial, you know what I mean? So you're on the further end of that. You identify more with Gen X.
Smack dab in the middle of millennial.
Yeah, I'm first quarter.
You're Q1. You're Q1
Yeah,
millennial.
Q1 millennial.
We were still figuring it out. We were rolling it out. We had some new ideas and concepts,
Yeah.
but we were still kind of nailing
Still
that down.
leaning on Gen X a little bit, you know?
Someone said, you guys are youngsters. When Weed Whacker was born, it was called Weed Eater because that was the name brand back in the day.
And we're getting a lot of pop in here, too. So I think
Yeah.
it's not even regional now. It's generational. Not even cultural. It's generational.
This listener said, you know how I know? Because I'm 65. Get off my damn lawn. Oh, that's
Yes,
funny.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
got it.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. What I need to know, 866-979-3776. Everyone is just texting in whether it's
Pop
soda
is
or
hot
pop.
right now.
I didn't know pop was popping
Pop
like
is-
that.
I mean, neither.
I've
Me neither.
never, ever
And
heard.
Weed Eater, man. It's
No.
I don't know. We're losing
I'd
this
never
one.
heard Weed Eater in my entire life. Ever,
I've
ever,
heard
ever.
of Weed Eater, but
no,
never
I didn't know
called it
that was a
that.
thing. I thought you made that up. I thought you were trying to be controversial. Let's see. Oh God, I gotta scroll through the Weed Eater texts. I need more questions.
We're losing. I got to start calling soda pop.
No, don't bend.
I have to.
No.
There's a person that said
Stay
born
strong.
in 87 that
Stay
calls
strong.
it pop.
No, where are they from? 87,
They
where are
say
you
they're
from?
from
There's no
here.
way. There's simply no way that calls it pop.
From Seattle, 87.
I don't know a single person that calls it pop.
I do,
Brady
but they're
Curtis.
older than me.
We are getting flooded with texts that are just pop or soda
all day.
This has been
Pop is Northwest.
one of
No,
the
it
most
is
popular
not.
text subjects we've ever gotten.
Are you
into the
serious
text.
right now?
It's hot right now. It's hot.
I
It
am
is-
born and
We're not e-
raised
I'm not
here,
even
and I
seeing
don't know
questions
anyone
anymore
No, it's
for
just
what I need
people
to
saying
know.
pop. It's
It's
just
now called
dozens
pop.
and dozens
You
of
can't
texts
call
saying
anything
pop.
else.
I'm gonna stand
And
strong.
Weed Eater.
Don't give up.
Hey.
Bump, stand by our side.
No, I'm good. I'm gonna go with the crowd. I'm going with the crowd. Easily influenced. Easily
wow.
influenced.
Laker fan, huh?
Oh, snap.
Wow.
16 championships. Get one.
Oh,
We
why
do,
am I not coming up
79.
next?
Well, you're right. 79.
Brock and Salk.
ESPN Baseball Insider Jeff Passan.
Big picture with the Seattle Mariners. What jumps out with this crew?
They're good. This is a game based around how many home runs you can hit and how many home runs you can prevent. And over the last calendar month, since they bottomed out at 3-7, Seattle Mariners hitters have hit the most home runs in all of Major League Baseball. Seattle Mariners starters have allowed the second fewest.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
The Mariners are giving you more baseball for your buck. With Mariners Value Games, score seats for as little as $11 on select dates all season long. Plus, check out the expanded Mariners Value menu and beers available every game. Enjoy ballpark classics like hot dogs and nachos for less than $5 and a great selection of brews starting at just $5. Go to mariners.com/value to grab your tickets and check out the full slate of value options at T-Mobile Park.
Hey, it's Gruz here. Getting a quick round or range session in before work makes the day so much more fun and is a big-time stress reliever. Take advantage of one of the 11 local premier courses nearby. Inner Bay, Jackson, Bill Wright, West Seattle, Cedar Crest, Bellevue, Linwood, Walter Hall, Legion Memorial, Lake Padden, and the newest course, the Ocean Shores Golf Course. Practice on the range with Top Tracer at Jackson, Inner Bay, and Bill Wright Golf Complex. Play the courses, play virtual, play premier, premiergolfcenters.com.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See dealer for full details and disclaimer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
The playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on all the action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ. That's JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Adam Schefter here for Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Are you ready for the NFL season? The schedule release is coming, and we know the best place to get your tickets this year. My friends at Vivid Seats. They're seriously legit, and you earn rewards on every purchase. That's basically free football games. When that schedule hits, don't wait around. For the best selection and all the great deals, head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in your game days now.
Another checkup? Why are so many people getting new puppies?
Dr. Kim's veterinary office is littered with cuteness.
We are booked solid for weeks, but who can say no to a puppy, right? Oh, good boy.
She needs to find extra vet techs to get those pups some extra love.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places that I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?